things allow mosquitoes to breed. And so just make sure that you keep your standing water to an absolute minimum. But we'll be finding out more about mosquitoes in the city of Philadelphia, particularly in the North Philadelphia area, where it seems that we are having a bit of a plague of mosquitoes, some of which are carrying the West Nile virus. I remember when the West Nile virus was the only problem that we were worried about. But in this age of the coronavirus, many people come home and say, I've been bit by a mosquito, all I have is the West Nile virus. But we don't want anybody to get anything. So we will talk about that in a few. I hope that you will be with us right around 4:30. Okay? All right, before we go much further, let me just share with you a couple of items in the news that deserve our attention. We talked about the NAACP being needed to fight for civil rights. I find this one hard to believe, and I'll share it with you. I hope that you are as nonplussed by this as I am. The Texas Senate has voted to no longer require that the public schools in Texas, listen carefully now, they have voted to no longer require that the public schools in Texas teach certain materials about the Ku Klux Klan. It had been mandated in Texas that they teach about the history of white supremacy and that they talk about the institution of slavery, the eugenics movement, where they were saying who had a right to breed and who did not, and trying to curtail the birth rate of certain groups of people, and the Ku Klux Klan, and I'm quoting now, in the ways in which it is morally wrong. The Texas Senate has voted to no longer require that their schools teach that the Ku Klux Klan has been morally wrong. Now, I know that that still leaves room for teachers to show some discretion, but how a Senate could vote that you don't have to teach that the Klan was wrong is something that defies my understanding and imagination. The Ku Klux Klan is as wrong as two left shoes. The Ku Klux Klan, ladies and gentlemen, is as wrong as wearing white after Labor Day. The Ku Klux Klan is as wrong as sneakers with a tuxedo. The Ku Klux Klan is as wrong as hell. And I say that with the correct denotation. I'm not cursing. I'm saying that it is as wrong as hell is. And to not require that that be taught, or to feel you need to pass a law saying you don't have to teach it, suggests that the state of Texas has lost their ever-loving mind. There are other things that no longer are being required. Now, and all of this, let's be clear, all of this is an attempt to erode the movement that says that we need to teach critical race theory. As you know, there are many individuals, older white individuals in certain places, who feel upset that the teaching of critical race theory will somehow or another. What are they upset about? I mean, what are they trying to say? I know that people wrestle with issues of race, and I understand that. But you've got to be honest, and you've got to be real, and you've got to be true. And the truth of the matter is that the United States of America built itself up on a doctrine known as manifest destiny that allowed them to steal and murder the original inhabitants of this land with the feeling that it was divinely ordained, and they used the same divine permission to say that it is acceptable to take people of darker skin from the African landmass, bring them here, and use them as warm-blooded machinery to accumulate enormous wealth for this nation in accordance with the book by Edward Baptist, The Half Has Not Been Told. We learned that the great wealth of the United States of America was built upon and stands upon the shoulders of the increase and the largesse that was created by the slave trade. Slaves could only be individuals who were descended from black people. It is a racial construct to then say that a concept or a teaching or a doctrine or philosophy known as critical race theory is not educational is insane. But hey, Texas says we like that there kind of teaching, and so they have wiped the requirement off the books that says that you have to teach that the Ku Klux Klan was morally wrong. I guess they're going to say that the Ku Klux Klan was sartorially challenged, or they're going to say that the Ku Klux Klan had methods that could be questioned, or they're going to say that the Ku Klux Klan at times did things that many people found to be injurious to certain classes of people. You know, all of that skipping around the point. But ladies and gentlemen, Texas is dead wrong here. Just thought I'd share it. Had to get it out. All righty then. There was one other. Oh, yes. How could I forget this? Today, something great happened in the world of aeronautics. Jeff Bezos, the richest man in the world, the founder of Amazon, launched his very strange-looking missile today. I don't want to go into any details about what made it strange-looking, but he launched his very strange-looking missile today, the Blue Origin, and the Blue Origin shot up and then pushed the head of that missile into a very sensitive element, the outer layer of our atmosphere, and then came down. The missile itself landed back in its place, an amazing feat to watch, and then the head of the missile descended slowly and then fell flat on a patch of earth, releasing the 4 individuals who were 10-minute astronauts. Of course, there was Jeff Bezos, who was accompanied by his brother, Mark Bezos, who was accompanied by aerospace pioneer Wally Funk. And for those of you who don't know, Wally Funk is an 82-year-old woman who had been listed as an early astronaut but never got a chance to make the flight. And last but not least was an 18-year-old by the name of Oliver Damon, who replaced an anonymous winner at a live auction who paid $28 million to take a 10-minute ride. I would have carried that man for 12 minutes on my back for only $14 million. I could save him money. But that man had to give up his spot on the Blue Origin because he had another trip to take. He was busy that day. May I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, what kind of business do you have that will allow you to write $28 million off? Whatever it is, $28 million? Listen, if my wife was having a baby, I would say, hold it. $28 million? Well, hey, that's the news on the Blue Origin. I don't know if you saw it, but I know that there must be one man that I know who saw it because he's always looking up and being an observer of things that are achieving greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the pride of excuse me for that mistake, Hampton University, the pride also of South Jersey. Please give it up, if you would be so kind, for the second in command of programming here at WURD, Mr. Eric Nixon.
Greetings, salutations.
But you sound like you're welcoming me to a castle with a cape on and you're going to bite me in the neck. Greetings, salutations.
Interesting that you would go that way.
Just stay away from the neck, you know. Just don't bite a brother's neck. Did you see the Blue Origin take off?
I did not, and I'm hearing your description of that, and you paid however much money to go, but however much far. So was this a test of you escaping the Earth, or, you know, what was your, you know, it's like that's like paying money to ride down the street with a bike and ride back up and go, this was the best bike on the planet.
Let me tell you, man.
It's supposed to leave the block, but you went down the street.
It was a almost 10-minute trip. The rocket shot straight up in the air, and then the head of the rocket separated from the shaft of the rocket, and the shaft landed back down. I mean, you know, in the old days it would fall into the ocean, but this time it landed back down on the spot from whence it took off. And the capsule, the head of it, then went up into the lower level of outer space. I don't know if they got up and floated around because there's zero gravity. They did reach zero gravity. And then the capsule came back down, and there were a set of parachutes, and then a bigger set of parachutes, and it landed on the Earth. And in 10 minutes, it was over. And I felt like I did the first time that I went to the amusement park and got on this lauded roller coaster that everybody talked about. And I got in it, and it went, ooh, and wee. And the next thing I knew, it was over.
You see me go to space? You want to see me do it again?
How about that? That's exactly what it was like, man. Incredible to me. Incredible, incredible, incredible. Hey, look, man, Eric, I understand that tomorrow we have a great day. We're going to be simulcasting with our friends from WVON in Chicago. The name of the program is The Art and Science of Urban Violence. It is a great program that is planned for everybody. Folks, we're going to have joining us individuals from the government who will tell us what the government response is to the violence that we're seeing. We're going to have individuals who are from the grassroots community sector. For example, here in Philadelphia, we'll have folks from the Black Men's Community Council, from Philly Truce, from the Metro Christian Council's Restorative Communities Program. We're trying to grab somebody from NOMO. Ricky Duncan is the director of that great program. Chicago will have some folks. We're going to talk about the reasons for it, the government response to it, the grassroots response to it. It's going to be a great program tomorrow. What say you, sir?
Looking forward to it. Definitely looking forward to it. Sponsored by, or brought to you by, I've got to get this verbiage right tomorrow. I need you to definitely practice.
I'm practicing.
Say it with me. Brought to you by.
Brought to you by.
Einstein Healthcare Network.
That's right. You don't have to be brilliant. You just need to be an Einstein.
This smarts peoples.
Yes, indeed.
But it's a great lineup that we're going to have tomorrow for an hour and 30 minutes of conversation on violence and prevention.
Absolutely. Positively. Ladies and gentlemen, he always gets it right. He's the man in the catbird seat, controlling the way our thoughts fly back and forth between hither and yon, the producer of Evening Words. Eric Nixon is, beg your pardon?
I have a guest in the studio. It's Mr. The A of Leaf, just dancing in the studio. Just want everybody to know who's the voice of the station.
The man with the greatest voice in radio, Khalif A.
He said not at all. He's being very humble as he walks away.
Hey, I wonder if his sister married a guy named 2Z. Her name would be Mary A to Z. You never know. Hey, you got two good men in that room right there, Mr. Khalif A. and our producer of renown, Mr. Eric Nixon. He'll be the first voice that you'll hear should you happen to call in. And call in, you just might treat him with the kind of respect that a second in command ought to have when it comes to programming things at WURD. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be joined by James Garrow, the communications director for the Philadelphia Health Department, to talk about them spraying in the North Philadelphia community about mosquitoes. More about that and a whole lot of other good stuff right here on WURD AM 900, 96.1 FM. This is Nick Taliaferro, and we will be back after this first break.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good afternoon. We are watching quite a few accidents across the area, including a closure on the Schuylkill Expressway. Westbound side, all the lanes are blocked between King of Prussia and 202 with an accident. You can imagine traffic at a crawl. We're going back to 476 with this delay. Again, 76 westbound shut down King of Prussia to 202. Meantime, the Vine Expressway has another accident. It's westbound at Broad Street. That's off to the side with delays going back to 95. Route 1 Media Bypass, northbound side, watch for a crash between Baltimore Pike and 252. Police are on the scene. They're directing traffic. And an accident on the Northeast Extension northbound between Mid-County and Lansdale. It's got the left lane blocked. Report brought to you by Staples Stores. Staples Connect has amazing prices for everything on your back-to-school list right now. 8 packs of Pep Rally #2 pencils, Staples pencil cap erasers, and Staples comp books are just 50 cents each. Offer ends 9/18/21. Pencils available in-store only. Offers may vary online. Staples. For more traffic info, log on to SIGAlert.com. I'm Jason Lee with your Philadelphia area traffic.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
The Broad Street line.
Georgetown High-Speed Line.
I ride the bus.
Regional Rail, every day.
Ursula Línea Azul. I ride the trolley.
Into, out of, and all around the city.
SEPTA is the hometown way to go.
Plan your trips at iseptaphilly.com.
Do you have what it tastes to solve Hearst flavor mix mystery? One chip, 3 classic Hearst flavors, thousands of possible combinations. Pick up a bag of Hearst flavor mix mystery and make your guess online today. Your guess could win you $10,000 and a year's supply of Hearst. Visit Hearst on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more info on how to enter. Solve the mystery. Break out the Hearst. No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 United States, DC, 18 years of age and older. Ends 8/31/21. To enter and for official rules, including odds and prize descriptions, visit campaign.rtm.com/Hearst flavor mix mystery / void where prohibited.
The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
I want to remind everybody that you can join WRD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we're going to be celebrating West Oak Lane, Mantua, North Philly, West and South Philly. And Tiffany Bacon will be broadcasting live from a different location in these neighborhoods each Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon. Now, the next stop is going to be in North Philly's Penrose Playground at 1101 West Susquehanna Avenue on this Friday, July 23rd. You can enjoy a special feature on the Summer Olympics. You can meet special guests and stand with WURD, your family of friends here at your favorite station. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the black community and show your support and join or renew your ForWord membership right there live on site. Get all the goodies that come with that as well. Join us as we broadcast from the Recreation Center at Penrose Playground from 10 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon this Friday and show a little love this summer during our Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. That's what it says right here. All right, welcome back to you, ladies and gentlemen. We are so grateful that we have such an active Department of Health here in the city of Philadelphia, reaching out to us in ways, trying to handle issues sometimes that we don't even see. I did not know that we're being plagued by mosquitoes in the city of Philadelphia, but the health department knew, and they're taking care of business. And joining us now is their director of communications, a gentleman who has helped us so much in getting guests to come along and give us explication and explanation about so many different things. Jim Garrow joins us today. James, it's so good to have you, sir, and welcome to WURD.
Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate it. It's wonderful. And you know, before we get started, I have to say, if you haven't known that there's a mosquito problem, you're not like me and you don't get eaten alive. I know some of your listeners out there feel that way too.
You know, I've been hearing that mosquitoes like, see, now the thing that what Jim just said to you is that he is much more tasty than I am because mosquitoes like him more. I tend to not get bitten that much, but mosquitoes tend to bite some people more than others. That's so, isn't it?
Yeah, you know, I don't know that we have a good reason why, but you know, from the health department's perspective, our real reason to want to do this is mosquitoes can transmit disease. Two of the big ones that we're worried about is West Nile virus and Zika virus. Zika was big a few years ago, but there's still mosquitoes out there that can transmit it to people and get them in the hospital.
You know, and I knew that about the West Nile virus, but if I remember correctly, the Zika virus was the one that, if transmitted to a pregnant woman, would cause birth defects in the children. Am I correct with that?
That's correct. Yep. We're not seeing as much of it now, but it's definitely still out there.
So these mosquitoes, they come along, and of course, they multiply faster than rabbits. I mean, where are they multiplying, and why is it in certain locales of the city and not so much in others?
Well, most people don't know this about mosquitoes, but mosquitoes are actually born in the water. So if you've got a little puddle of water, something that's still and not moving around, the mosquitoes will come and lay their eggs in there, and they'll reproduce in that water. So what ends up happening is a place where you've got lots of, just still water standing around in trash or in tires or just in bird baths, places like that, where the water can't drain away or get moved away. That's where you tend to get more mosquitoes. So we go around the city and try to help people get rid of that standing water so they can get rid of the mosquitoes.
So are we seeing cases of individuals? We know that people are getting bitten all around the city all the time, but are we seeing cases of Zika virus or West Nile virus in certain areas that brings us to an alarm point?
No, not yet. We're trying to get ahead of things. So
excellent, yeah.
Yesterday we put out a press release. So tonight after midnight, we're going to have a truck driving around the area around 5th and Diamond. It's going to do what we call larvicide spraying. So this is going to be a truck that's driving slowly around that area and put in a mist up in the air. Now, this mist is not a chemical. It's not anything that's dangerous. This is naturally occurring bacteria that only kills mosquito larvae. For whatever reason, it's evolved to do this, and this is what we send up. And what it'll do is it'll land in all those places where there's standing water, where there's little larvae floating around, and it'll kill all those. So they won't turn into mosquitoes. So our hope is in that area. This will knock down the mosquito population in the next couple of weeks.
So for those individuals, because being a talk show host, there are people who are always willing to drum up the next conspiracy theory. So when people see a truck rolling slowly around the neighborhood, dispensing a mist, they're not seeing an insecticide per se. They're seeing a larvicide that is naturally occurring.
That's right. And this is something that this spray that we're using has been tested for over 40 years around the globe. And just within the last few months, the state was able to get it approved here in Pennsylvania as safe for humans, it's safe for pets and large animals and anything that's not a mosquito larvae. So now that they've got it approved here in Pennsylvania as well, like I said, around the world, that people use this all the time. We're starting to try it out here in the city. This will be our second spray. The first one was around Greenmont Cemetery, a little further up in Philly. And then we're going to try to do this weekly throughout the city in different locations.
For those of you just joining us, we're speaking with James Garrow. He's the Communications Director for the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. There is an alarm being raised that the presence of mosquitoes in the city of Philadelphia might occasion infections of West Nile virus and also the Zika virus. Rather than wait for that to happen, the health department is getting ahead of it, and they're going to start doing some spraying tonight. Now, this spray, is it the kind of thing that if it gets on clothing or your car that you have to wash off or anything like that?
Nope, nothing like that. We don't have any concerns with people who happen to be outside or it landed on cars or people have clothes hanging up on the line or any of the kids' toys out in the yard. Nothing like that. We don't have any worry that this is going to be harmful. Like we said, the part of the spray that's being used to kill the mosquitoes has no effect on humans whatsoever.
Okay. It's funny now because I remember someone saying that they saw this spray and the next day there were mosquitoes flying around. But from what you're saying to me is that it kills the larval stage of the spray, not necessarily the full-grown insect.
That's exactly right. So this isn't going to, turn off all the mosquitoes in that neighborhood tomorrow. What's going to end up happening, these ones will only live for maybe another week or so, but all the larvae, all the eggs that they've laid, they won't grow into mosquitoes. So within the next 2 or 3 weeks, they'll start to see an improvement.
Wow. I mean, first of all, I got two questions. The first one is, where was this when I was a child being turned into an hors d'oeuvre by mosquitoes? And secondly, how do they develop this? I mean, from what you sent out, this is something that is naturally occurring in soil. It's a bacteria that naturally exists. How do we discover this kind of stuff? And then how do we manufacture it once we discover it?
That is something that's way above my pay grade there, Nick. But the scientists and the folks who do this stuff, and our mosquito hunters out there on our team, the Vector Control Services folks, they're very excited about the opportunity to use this. They think this will make a real dent in the mosquito populations And they wouldn't just jump on, the latest thing to come down the line. Somebody comes knocking on the door with this brand new chemical to use. That's not something we want to be spraying in the community where folks live. So this is something, like I said, that's been tested around the world for decades. They feel confident and comfortable that this is perfectly fine for them to use in their neighborhood and in other neighborhoods. So we're excited to see it happen.
Are there, and of course, now people, of course, if this works, they're going to say, well, why can't we spray to get rid of other pests that we might find around? And will this, might this, then on the other side, there will be some who will say, we've got a real issue with sensitivity when it comes to bee populations. Will this damage bees in a larval stage or something like that? Has it been tested for that?
It's my understanding that the bacteria itself only affects and not like I said, it doesn't even affect the adult mosquitoes, just the larval stage, because it'll settle into the water where they're growing and affect them at that point. So bees don't grow up in water. So our hope is, at least that's what they tell me, that this only affects them in that larval stage there.
I'm trying to turn James Garrow into a biochemist and get all sorts of questions, as he said before, that's above his pay grade. Now, is this just for tonight, or are we going to see this recurring for the next several days?
This will just be tonight. Again, they're going to be running after midnight. And the reason they're doing it after midnight is, not to hide it or keep away from people. Or it's really that the truck's got to drive really slow. And anybody who's driven on Fifth Street knows that anybody's driving 7 miles an hour is going to cause a problem. If we do it at midnight, we'll hopefully won't knock up traffic too much.
Well, James, look, I got to tell you, it's exciting to think that it might be able to knock down mosquitoes. But I would think, and I live near Fairmount Park, that park areas where you have, large pools of standing water and puddles and all, and where you have a lot of woods and foliage, that those would be the places where you would find the most mosquitoes. Am I off on that thinking?
No, not at all. This is one of the things that we do. We definitely do other things as well. So there's another spray that the health department will do sometimes that just targets the adult mosquitoes. So that's different than what we're talking about today. But that's one where they'll drive by a lot of those wooded areas. Fairmount Park is one. The Northeast Water Treatment Plant is another. Places like that where there is a lot of that foliage, a lot of that standing water. Up in Andorra where they have all the woods up there, they'll do that as well. And it'll knock down all of those adult mosquitoes, but it won't stop them, the ones that are already growing in the water. So this is an effort to knock them down in the future.
So this is a two-pronged attack. One specifically aimed at developing mosquitoes in their larval stage. The other, the more broader attack, is to kill mosquitoes that are biting you in the keister right now.
That's exactly right. And it's not just the health department that can do this as well. We have a hotline here at the health department, and I would definitely want to pass along to your listeners.
Please.
215-685-9000. That's 215-685-9000. You just let them know that you're having a mosquito problem, like it's uncomfortable to go outside. I'm getting eaten alive. We'll send somebody out. They'll take a look at your property, see where the problem might be coming from, and actually help the property, whoever calls in, deal with the problem and dump out that standing water and tell them what to be on the lookout for. So in the future, they won't have that problem.
James, you're always helpful with us, and we're so grateful that you make sure that we get the information we need in a timely way. Is there a way that folks who are listening can check you out online, and if there are other initiatives or developments, they can just look online and just stay up to date?
We try to post everything on our social media. So we've got a Twitter account that's pretty prolific, and they're transitioning into the mosquito stuff. They're still pretty heavy on the COVID side. So those are good messages as well. But we're definitely putting stuff up on there. And that's twitter.com/PHL Public Health. We're on Facebook as well. And then our website is always a good place too, phila.gov/health.
Well, folks, you can't get any better information than that. We've been speaking with James Garrow, the Communications Director for the Philadelphia Department of Public Health. And look, there are things that are going around biting you, and most of them are not people that you're dating. They're mosquitoes, and the Department of Health is trying to make sure that we avoid the possibility of a spread of West Nile virus or the Zika virus through mosquito bites. So they're going to be knocking them down in the North Philadelphia area. The truck will be trolling around after midnight tonight along the 5th and Diamond Street area. If you happen to see a truck from Philadelphia, then you'll know exactly what it's doing. Jim, it's always a pleasure speaking with you, man. Thank you so much for keeping us in touch with information that keeps us healthy and safe, and all the best to you down at the Philadelphia Department of Health.
Thank you so much, Nick. It's a pleasure. Please take care of yourself.
Thank you, sir. Look forward to the next time.
Take care now.
You got it. That's Jim Garrow there, ladies and gentlemen. Good gentleman, making sure that we stay in touch. We'll be back in touch with you right after we take this next break. It's now 19 minutes away from the hour of 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, we'll be joined by the president, the newly elected president of the NAACP, here on Evening Words. Stay with us, folks. We'll be back right after this.
Whatever the world brings, we're always moving forward. Reinventing business, reimagining home, and re-emphasizing community. At PICO, we're redefining support, finding new ways to provide financial assistance, supporting opportunities for good jobs, and uplifting our communities. We're by your side through it all, because whatever the future holds, you're ready to take it on, and we're ready to power it. Find the support you need at pico.com.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to WURDradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
WURD Radio Digital Tip of the Month with Stephanie Humphrey. Brought to you by Comcast.
Using food or grocery delivery services like DoorDash, Grubhub, or Instacart proved to be a valuable lifeline for some during the pandemic. And even as the country opens up, food delivery is still very popular and shows no sign of slowing down. Here are some tips to make sure your next food or grocery delivery goes smoothly. Typically, the best time of the day to order groceries is first thing in the morning, but on most apps, you can schedule your delivery in advance, so take advantage of that feature to help avoid long wait times. Make sure you leave clear delivery instructions for your driver. Provide cross streets, landmarks, or a description of your home if necessary. And leave detailed instructions for your grocery shopper by specifying preferences in the comments in the app. If you're concerned about security within the app, use Apple Pay or PayPal as your payment method instead of storing your credit card information. And of course, make sure you tip your shopper or driver for their hard work. Stay tuned to WURD for more tips and stay connected with us at WURDradio.com.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Want the latest in WURD swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk media. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black. Talk media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Hey, good people, bad people just as well. Back with you here on your favorite place to do conversation in the late afternoon. Going to get to the phone lines at 215-634-8065. Got time for just a few calls before we check in with our 5 o'clock guest. She is Catherine Hicks, the newly elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP. She's also the publisher of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. In case you're saying, where have I heard that name? right there is where you heard it. We go first to, let's go to Jacob in Albany. Jacob, thank you for the call and welcome to the show.
Hey, peace be unto you, Brother Nick. How you doing today?
I am doing well today, sir. Good to hear your voice.
Oh, it's always glad to hear yours. And to the Muslims, I want to say Eid Mubarak. I'm having a good day, man. I'm off from work. Spending a lot of time with listening to the URD family. It's just a good day for me, you know.
Oh, bless you, man. Bless you.
And you know, Nick, I'm glad that you had that man on from the health department there, right, to let us know. This is the second time I've heard on WURD. I just love it because it gives our community information that we need to know. Because by the time that story would have hit the internet, well, the trucks would have turned into UFOs, and it would have been tied to something that Bezos, he went up. It would have had something to do with the Democrats, and that's the way they vaccinating the black people that don't want to get the vaccine. They spraying it there. It would have been all that, you know. So I'm glad you had him on. You know how we do, Nick. Like a snowball rolling down the side of a snow-covered hill. It's growing.
It's growing, man.
Yeah.
I've never heard it so comedically and humorously stated. But that's when I saw the news, and I want to thank Troy Wilmore for passing this on to me. When I saw the news, I said, now, you know, people are going to see this, and they're going to say that, you know, Donald Trump is spraying people in the neighborhood, or like you said, it's UFOs.
Yeah, Bezos went up now, and they following him. They followed him down to North Philly. Oh, man, just any old story. You know, I'm just glad, you know, we get the information and get it, you know, correctly from the people who's handling that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Hey, look, you made mention of Eid, and most people, you know, they know of Eid al-Fitr, but they are not familiar too much with Eid al-Adha. Right. And so if you could just give us a thumbnail on this celebration of members of our Muslim community.
Well, the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing be upon him, told us that this was the greater Eid. You know, we always thought, I mean, yes, he said this is the greater Eid, the one commemorating Abraham, our father Abraham, and his sacrificing of his son. You know, because on Arafat was, you know, they're coming down off of Arafat today, and that is Hajj. You know, it's linked up with the Hajj thing. So, I mean, it's a beautiful story. If you read the story and you get what's behind it, it's all about faith that these people had, the kind of faith that we should have, and the kind of thanks that we should give for, you know, just the things that we have. I mean, it's just we enjoy our families. It's a great festival. I mean, and we used to always think that Eid al-Adha used to come sometime and go, and as Muslims, we wouldn't even, it was the Eid yesterday. And then we wouldn't even know because that wasn't the one where we was fasting, see?
Right.
Because we was fasting and we couldn't eat or drink during the daylight hours and the sun go down and for 30 days. And so when we could eat during the morning and drink, man, that was big to us. But we didn't know that the other one was the big one. So I mean, it's all of that. You know, we have the two. That's of all of the Islamic holidays. This is one of the holiest of the, if you want to call it a holiday, a holy day, or whatever. This is our big one. But anyway,
well, man, look, I appreciate you sharing it, because I know somebody else said, wait a minute, wasn't Eid after Ramadan? I said, they're two different ones.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that up, man, and giving us a little bit more information, and we hope that you have a peaceful and blessed celebration.
Well,
thank you, sir.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Bye-bye. Always
a privilege. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in another phone call. Charles and Sharon Hill wants to talk about those schools in Texas. What is wrong with folks in that state? Charles, thank you for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much for having me on your show.
Pleasure, man. A pleasure.
Caller. I love listening to your program. You keep me very much entertained and educated.
Thank you, sir.
Your subject. And as you being a minister as well, I like the way you interact with the public. Your voice keeps us calm and comfortable just listening to you.
Thank you, Charles. That's very kind of you.
I have a question for you. Texas, right? And
yes.
In the Senate. Now, they control the education of the United States with the books and all that, what we, at least what our children receive for education and their curriculum, which they're supposed to learn throughout the United States. And I was like, how did they get that authority to teach all the other states throughout the United States when they lost the war? And then they want to teach us from bad history, and we have to fall for it. But then when they make new laws, they don't even follow any of the laws that the descendants make. So I'm just curious of why do even Pennsylvania allow them to teach our children their nonsense when we're supposed to be, we have so many doctors in education and so many educated people and so many colleges within our state that can teach our children even better than what Texas can even give us. So that's my question. Is like, have you done any research on that?
Well, I mean, the research that I have done says that Texas does not tell you what books to give to your children. Texas, of course, you know, Texas being the size that it is, the largest state geographically and the second largest state by population, has its own influence that it brings to bear upon the nation. But every state has its own educational system under the aegis and under the mandate of not only the state educational department, but the individual school districts that comprise that state. And they get to choose which books they will print, and they get to choose what curriculum they will employ.
Now, do they come from, does that information come from Texas? And
No, I mean, no, I mean, each district has its own way of determining and constructing its own curriculum. Texas, to be honest with you, a lot of people are beginning to turn to look at Texas with a slanted eye, saying, "Y'all, you folks don't really know what you're doing." Now, they do have a lot of publishing houses that were down in Texas, but you know, every school has its own right and its own ability to choose what books it will use to teach its children.
Okay, because for some reason, a lot of teachers that I had spoke to in my area, I live in the Sharon Hill area, right? They said a lot of the books and stuff comes from the Texas area.
Yeah, there's a lot of publishing houses in Texas.
Right.
A lot of publishing houses. But that doesn't mean that because it's published there, it doesn't mean that Texas created it. It just means it's published there.
Okay. I think we need to use some of the publishing companies within our own state. I think
so yeah.
I'll feel a little bit more comfortable of what our children are learning.
Hey man, look, I will make sure I'll put that bug in the ear of our school district, man. Charles, I appreciate your listening, and take care of things for us in Sharon Hill. Beautiful place there.
Keep on teaching us, man.
Hey, Charles, thank you for your kind words. I deeply appreciate it, man. All right. Yeah, I mean, Texas does have an outsized, just like California. California has an outsized impact on the United States. You know, you start thinking of states that throw their weight around influentially. You're talking Texas, you're talking California, you're talking New York State. In reality, you're talking New York City when you say New York State. You talk Florida. I mean, these are states that just have a lot of influence. Folks, it's time for us to take our final break of the hour. When we come back, I get an opportunity to introduce you to the newest president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP. Now, she's got a whole new cabinet coming in, and the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP has had some issues over the last few. The turbulent ending of the last regime of the presidency. But the NAACP is on its way once again. These things happen, folks. You know, there's no need to vilify anybody. What we want to do is start building up once again, and trust me, if the NAACP was ever needed, you know, to paraphrase the song that they used to sing in the old churches, if you ever needed the NAACP before, we sure do need them now. So let's find out what they're going to be doing for us as we speak with its incoming president, Catherine Hicks, right after we take this next break. You're listening to 900 AM, 96.1 FM. This is Evening Words. I'm Nick Taliaferro. Look forward to speaking more with you after this next break.
What's up, Philly? It's Sincerely Sarita. With so much uncertainty surrounding the upcoming school year, now is the time to take charge of your child's education and give them the tools to make learning fun and safe. Check out Commonwealth Charter Academy, which can make a difference in your child's life. Commonwealth Charter Academy, or CCA, is a K-12 public cyber charter school with nearly 20 years of experience providing a flexible, stable, online education in the comfort of your home. Enroll today at ccaeducate.me. Your child will receive 1. A world-class accredited education streamed directly into your home at no cost to you. 2. A laptop, headphones, assistance with accessing the internet and learning materials, all provided at no cost to you. 3. A safe learning environment with no bullying or security concerns. Join the nearly 2,500 students from Philly who already attend CCA. The school year begins September 8th. Enroll now at ccaeducate.me.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon. I will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next stop is Penrose Playground, 1101 West Susquehanna Avenue, Friday, July 23rd. Enjoy a special feature on the Summer Olympics, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your 4WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at Penrose Playground from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly.
Morning, Mama. How you feeling?
Great, and I'm ready for you today.
I'm checking in on you. Morning meditation?
Check.
Dressed and ready to work out?
Check.
Check your blood pressure yet?
And check.
Boom! Great job, Mom. And about those gold earrings?
No, ma'am.
Now more than ever, it's important that we protect our hearts and the hearts of those we love. Monitor your blood pressure daily and help each other stay motivated. Rally your squad to take the online pledge at releasethepressure.org. Brought to you by the Release the Pressure Coalition and the Ad Council.
The WURD Radio Newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting wordradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio. Messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese. Exclusive articles and multimedia content and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio Newsletter. This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Hey folks, hanging on the wall just behind me out of sight is a plaque that I'm very proud of that lets people know that I am a member of the long-standing flag-bearing in the vanguard leadership team of the NAACP. It is a part of American history that will not be forgotten and whose place is registered and nailed firmly in place. The NAACP was there at Kansas and the Board of Education there trying their best to figure out how to get things to work right. The NAACP has led the fight so often when it comes to civil rights, and they still do. The Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP has been a long-standing part of the overall effort of that great group. And recently there were some troubles, but we're glad to see things moving forward in a very, very positive way. Just a couple of months ago, while we were doing a live program at Brown ShopRite here in Winfield, I happened to meet a young lady whose face looked familiar, but I did not exactly know who it was. And she greeted me and told me who she was, and then I knew, yes, the publisher of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. But little did I know that I would be calling her Madam President not long after that. Please make welcome, if you'd be so kind, everyone, the newly elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP, Catherine Hicks. Ms. Hicks, it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance, and may I call you Catherine?
Yes, you may. Catherine is fine. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. You sound crystal clear. And I so appreciate your being able to join us today.
Well,
Congratulations.
thank you for having me.
Oh, it is. When I saw the announcement after this Saturday's election, I said, well, it looks like we're on the pathway to not only progress, but also to prosperity once again as an organization in the city of Philadelphia. For those who don't know about the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP, give us just a brief overview about who they are now and what they have been to this city.
The NAACP, as most people may know, has been around since 1909. The Philadelphia chapter has been in existence since 1911. And it has been instrumental in working with all types of organizations, being in the forefront when it comes to racial disparities, anything that seems to happen that has issue with Black and brown people. And we want to get back to doing that again. That's one of the reasons that I decided to run.
You know, it wasn't too long, Madam President, ago that people were saying that the NAACP is an anachronism. They hark back to a time that has passed, and now we need to move on because it no longer is relevant to where we're going or how we're headed. And then something happened that gave us President number 45, and people began to realize, hey, we need this organization as much as ever. What changes are a part of the evolving nature of this historical organization that you can tell us about?
Well, I think what they are trying to do now is get more of the young people involved. Younger people who, the city has changed, our nation has changed. There's so much going on, and the NAACP is still very much needed. I mean, it grew out of race riots, social work issues, joblessness, and we still have all that going on now, along with all of the violence that we are now having to deal with. So I think we should not say that it is not necessary. We are still one of the strongest organizations around, and we still have a lot to be done. one thing that we are able to do is work with these organizations that have come out and that are stepping up. We can work along with them and take a lead. But we need the people to join us. You can't look at it now and say, you know, well, I don't want to do anything. I don't really want to get involved because I don't think they're doing anything. We're doing a lot. I know that it seemed like the NAACP Philadelphia chapter had lost its voice. It really didn't. The pandemic caused a lot of the kind of miscommunication because it was something new that was happening with the organization as well. So, I mean, but we were still having our meetings online. We were still trying to participate in as much as we could. But again, it is a volunteer organization. So at the time when everybody was kind of scared to be going out and, you know, being in the community, our volunteers were just as well. So it was hard, but it's a new day now. Things are coming around. We're getting back out, but also our city is in crisis. So we're needed a whole lot more. We need to be out there. We need to, you know, be engaged and involved.
We're speaking with the newly elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP. She also happens to wear another hat on a daily basis, and that is as the publisher of the Philadelphia Sunday Sun. So she knows the city of Philadelphia, but now she is at the helm of the leading civil rights organization in this country as it is represented by the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP here in the city of Philadelphia. We'll open the phone line so that you get an opportunity to engage our president of this very fine organization here in Philadelphia. The number is 215-634-8065. That's 215-634-8065. Now, there are some younger people, and we're talking about younger people now. There was a bit of a battle over in Utah, not here in Philadelphia, but over in Utah, where the Black Lives Matter folks were saying that the flag is racist and anybody who flies it is a racist. And the Utah chapter of the NAACP said that's not so, that the American flag stands for decent people all throughout this country. And there's some people who think that, oh man, well, see, the NAACP, they're not hip, they're not with it, they should be more radical. What do you say to some people who feel that the methods of the NAACP aren't radical enough to face the challenges of the times?
Well, I disagree. I don't think that you have to be totally radical in order to engage with the times. We don't just work with the African American community. We have to be able to work with everybody, and we represent everybody. Yes, our main concern is for Black and brown people, and to make sure that their needs are being addressed. But we are not we're not all African American. You know, of course, like the NAACP was founded by actually a white gentleman. So we have to work with all cultures, and that's what I want to be able to do. And I said that when in my statement when I ran, I said I'm willing to work with anybody and everybody that is looking to make change and to make our neighborhoods, our city, a safer place.
There are some people who don't recognize that even though the NAACP is large, that it is not all-consuming when it comes to every time you hear the word NAACP, that there's a separation to some degree between the NAACP and the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Can you help us to define the different entities and the different operations of the NAACP that we might hear about, but aren't necessarily all under the same banner?
Yeah, the Legal Defense Fund, it is a part of the NAACP, but that they pretty much formed that organization when a lot of the NAACP activists were being arrested and they needed money. And now I believe what they are doing with that legal fund is working with some of the wrongly convicted and some of the fights that they have to go to court for. It's still a part of it, but it's just an arm of the NAACP, the national.
Well, and one other thing that I wanted to ask, then we're going to get right to our phone calls, is that there are some things that are specifically aimed at young people with the NAACP, like the Act So program. Can you just give us just a thumbnail brief on the Act So program?
Yes, and that's one of our favorites anyway. The Act So program has been around, I guess I would say for now maybe about 25 years or more. But it is a program that is geared, and what I'm going to do at some point, I would like our AXO committee to actually come on and talk about it, because it's a wonderful program that is geared for our youth, and it has it's the academics of the mind. So they compete every year at the nationals, and it's dance, it's creative speaking, it's the acronym says pretty much it all, and it's of course, right now that you said it to me, I'm like trying to think of the actual acronym.
That's because you've got so many other things on your plate.
And it's like, and I'm drawing a blank, which is horrible, but it is. It's like 32 competitions. It's STEM, it's humanities, it's business, it's performing, visual, and culinary arts. But it is so much that our youth can get involved in, and that's one of the things that I want to make sure that we do. As president, I want to make sure that we engage the youth, because everything that's going on right now is because I feel our youth do not have enough to keep them occupied. So they're finding things that are only causing problems. There is so much that they can be doing, and there's organizations out there that are open to provide certain things for them that can maybe take them off of the streets and can curb some of this crime. But we have to get it out there so people are aware of it. And that's one of the things that I want to make sure that I'm going to be very much active in, is making sure that people are aware of of things that are offered, not only by the NAACP, but other organizations that are willing to work with us.
Well, before we get to our callers, and I'll give that number again at 215-634-8065. Before we get to our callers, it should be noted that you were not sworn in alone in the leadership of the NAACP, but you brought a cabinet with you. Can you introduce some of your supporting team there?
Yes, I can. And I must say, I am very proud, excited, and ready to work with this slate that is coming in with me, because they are ready, they are willing, and they are able. My first vice president is Bishop J. Lewis Felton.
Oh, yeah.
And he's the bishop. He is the bishop of Mount Airy Church of God in Christ. He has been active with the NAACP for over 10 years. He is very vocal and very eager to participate in what's going on. My second vice president is someone that is very much known to your listening audience, and that's Melvin, you all call him Prince, Johnny. And he too is someone, I was very impressed with his background. I was impressed with how eager he was, and how accessible he was to become a part of our slate. And he has a lot going on. He has a lot that we are going to be bringing out. You're going to hear from him, and not only on the radio, but now you'll be hearing from him in other parts of his side, because he's very engaging. I must say, I'm impressed.
Okay.
Our third vice president is a young lady named Cameron Bonds. And she's an educator. She works with the youth, and she's going to really be stepping up to the plate to really help us get some of the young people involved. Yes.
Okay.
So and then our secretary was reelected, and that's Shirley Pumpkin Jordan, and is it Jordan? I think
No,
I'm
that's
saying
Roberts.
he got
Shirley,
married.
that's Shirley Roberts.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and Shirley
Yes, she was
Jordan is your
recently
treasurer.
married.
Yeah.
Shirley Jordan is the treasurer, and our assistant treasurer is Shirley Williams. Our assistant secretary is Chandra Deal, and she too is all of them. Everybody's ready to step up to the plate. We have a great executive committee board that, again, everybody's ready to step up to the plate. We just are now getting like the transition of power, so to speak. So that's why, I mean, the last day has been, actually the last 2 days, we have really been trying to get things. We're updating everything, you know, the website, the phone system, the emails, all of the social media, so that when people are looking to get in contact with us, they're going to be able to do that. Because I know that was always a concern that, you know, at some point we seemed like we were not accessible.
Well, let's get to the phone calls, and we start off with an auspicious caller who is a public servant and doing a great job in her own right. Representative Darisha Parker joins us now. Thank you for your call, Representative, and welcome to the program.
Well, good evening, and thank you, Pastor Nick, and good to hear my sister President.
I can't hear you.
It's hard to hear you, Madam Representative. Is there any way we can get you closer to the phone there?
Can you hear me now?
That's better.
Hey, I was saying thank you, Pastor Nick, and thank you and congratulatory again to our president. I was going to say president-elect, but now she's sworn in to President Kathy Hicks.
Thank you.
And I'm not going to let anybody get off the line to know that one thing that we need to talk about is, yes, it's the type of job, and we do volunteer, but what we need to encourage everybody to take out your membership. So let's not stand on the sidelines and complain about the past. Let's start a new path by pulling out your checkbook, your PayPals, or whatever. That means all of us need today to make sure that we join, and support our sister Kathy and her administration to make sure that they do well. We all need to roll up our sleeves and do what we need to do to get the job done. And the only way we can get it done is by funds. That's right, everybody, funds. FUNDS. That means all that extra money that you have, make sure you give that to our president that's here, Kathy Hicks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Well,
I look forward to working with you.
That is a full-throated endorsement from State Representative Darisha Parker.
Yes.
Thank you for lending your voice to support this great and pivotal organization when it comes to civil rights, Representative. Thank you.
I'm very passionate. You know, it's always near and dear to my heart, especially with the location is in the 198th district, which happens to be my district. So
I kind of noticed that.
And I'm so happy to be there.
I got to do the shameless plug, and we're looking forward to doing some outreach. I've already reached out to a couple of women's organizations, and we're all going to do a Zoom and making sure that we all connect as sisters, because now is the time to make sure that we support you and you do well, and all the people out there by doing what we need to do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for calling in. I appreciate that.
All right.
And that's what that's what I was running on. Now is the time. This is the time that we have to do some things. And I want to say this real quick also, that one of the first things that we'll be doing as the NAACP coming together, we're working with the Philadelphia Sheriff's Office, and there's another organization. It's going to be at Mount Airy Church of God. It's going to be Saturday, July 31st. It's going to be a unity event from 11 to, I believe, 4 or 5. The flyers will be going out this Friday, but the NAACP will be there. We'll have a table. You'll have the opportunity to meet pretty much our whole slate, because this will be our introduction. And we will be out there speaking to people, signing people up, finding out where we're needed. And I just welcome everybody to come. So look out for that.
And we're going to be doing that, and we will remind people of that date. Right now, we have to take our first break in our interview with the newly elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP. She is Catherine Hicks, and we'll be coming back to continue our conversation with her and with you after this quick break. Woody, you are next in line. Stay with us. This is 96.1 FM, 900 AM. Nick Taliaferro here with you, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good afternoon. Some slow going on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound, but at least we made progress with this accident between King of Prussia and 202. All the lanes were blocked for a while. Right now, the left lane has reopened. The right lane still blocked, but traffic still crawling from the Blue Route 476, but at least traffic is moving. Now, just off the Schuylkill in that area, Henderson Road is stacked up northbound between the Schuylkill and DeKalb Pike. Back on 76, delays westbound University to the Vine, eastbound Montgomery to the Vine. An accident on the Vine Expressway westbound at Broad Street. Off to the side, delays back to 8th Street. Report brought to you by Smart Mouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Stay fresh out there with Smart Mouth mouthwash, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with twice daily use. So whatever the day may bring, you can stay sunny with a side of fresh. Grab a bottle today. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at CVS or visit smartmouth.com to find a retailer near you. And for more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jason Lee with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Geico presents Motorcycle Word of the Day. Today's word is tank slapper. Is a tank slapper used to describe a handlebar wobble? Or is it a motorcycle joke that is so funny you just have to slap the gas tank with your hand as you laugh? As in...
Oh man, Daryl told me a great joke last night. It was hilarious. It was something about a dog wearing sunglasses. I wish I could remember. It was a real tank slapper.
Geico Motorcycle. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
If you've got an insurance question, you could talk to your Nana, but she'd probably just tell you how she insured her couch from stains by covering it with plastic. Or you could talk to your local Geico agent. They'll give you a different kind of warm and fuzzy, with personalized assistance for all your insurance needs, like how you could be saving on your policies. So let your Nana cover her couch in plastic, and let a local Geico agent help cover you, but not in plastic. To find a Geico agent near you, visit geico.com/local.
North Philly, Center City,
Norristown, West Philly.
I ride chapter everywhere.
Every place.
every day. Into, out of, and all around the city.
SEPTA is the hometown way to go.
Right with us at iseptaphilly.com.
For the past 10 years, Comcast has been helping students get ready. We've connected 5 million students from low-income families to low-cost, high-speed internet. We're working with both nonprofit partners and city leaders to create over 1,000 Wi-Fi connected lift zones in community centers nationwide. And now we're committing $1 billion to reach 50 million people with the connectivity, skills, training, and the resources they need to succeed in a digital world. Learn more at comcast.com/education.
The holistic colonoscopy. No IV sedation. Your colonoscopy is due. You don't have someone to drive you home. You don't want to drink the prep. You don't want to be sedated with the Michael Jackson drug propofol. Does that sound like you? Call Blake Gastroenterology at 215-849-4902. Visit the website www.jsblake.com and make your appointment today. Drive yourself home after the holistic colonoscopy.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Dariana. We call him Day Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Hey, folks, if you're looking to hire diverse talent, WURD has really got you covered because we've just launched a brand new job portal that will help to connect you with diverse talent in the Philadelphia listening area and even beyond. Now, if you'd like to have your jobs featured on our job portal, give us a call at 215-425-7875 or simply send us an email at sales@wordradio.com. Check out our job portal today on our livelihood website at wordworks.com. Here's the spelling to that, WURDworks.com. Click on jobs and you'll be on your way to hiring the best people to do the job that you need them to do. Final call for our guests. We're speaking with the newly elected president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP. We're wishing her all the best. We go to Woody now in Winfield. Woody, thank you for your call and welcome to the show.
Great program, great program. Just wanted to salute Ms. Hicks, and I had a question for her.
Thank you.
The fact that you're with the Sunday Sun, I believe a couple of times you were probably with one of our annual celebrations with our Human Family Day, where we bring all the cultures together from around the world to say that there's only one race called human with many cultures and ethnicities, and there's only one color called melanin with many shades. See, when we understand the depth of what that is, then we understand we're just on this dot floating around in space, but the dot is the only home we got to go. Now, some billionaires believe that they're going to be able to go out and live other places, but I think God put us here for a reason. And I think it's high time we get this place called Earth straightened out, and it's our job as men and women on Earth to do that. Now, are you the first female here in Philadelphia?
I was going to ask that. Great question, Woody.
No, you know what? Originally, I thought I was, but there actually was another female. When, what was his name? Cecil B. Moore was the president. At that time, the branches had split up. I think there were 4 different branches, Philadelphia branches.
Yes, I remember those days.
And then they came back together. So when they came back together, there was a president. Her name was Reese. I just had it in the tip of my tongue, and I lost it.
Well, don't worry about it. The most important thing is we know there was a female, and
yes,
that to me is the power of that. I wanted to say to you, are you aware that Jesse Jackson just received a position from another country for all the wonderful work he's done throughout the years? I was the barber that cut his hair for the Democratic Convention when he ran for president of the United States. So when I stop and think about a great person like that, what are we doing with some of the obvious people that have done so much in our history as it relates to the NAACP? Because I would love to see more of all of these famous people, you know, like Nick Teleferro and all the others that follow him, you know, to finally get some credit here in the city of Philadelphia to say, hey, he is somebody. You see what I'm saying?
Well, go ahead, use your preaching voice. Thank you for that.
And look, one last thing I have to say, and I'm going to let you guys go. Pertaining to the pandemic that we have in our educational structure, I would like you to read an article that I did, a letter to Donald Trump. He was the one that made it clear to the rest of the country that African Americans, your schools are all messed up, can't get money from your banks, gentrified out your neighborhoods. I wrote him a letter the next day, and it went published in the Philadelphia Tribune September 9th. It was the 25th, page 10A, 2016, a letter to Donald Trump. Please read that. I would definitely like to stay in contact with you from this point on, and you can use my barbershop for whatever you want. But I know we got to touch base with these kids one-on-one, and I'd like to make sure that you know my door is open for you.
Well said, sir.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And I will be coming to your barbershop.
Yes, ma'am.
You're friends with Prince, am I correct?
I'm friends with Prince. Prince is my main man. I'm telling you, he's a special person, and he's got a great spirit. That's what I love about him. And I think he'll do great things.
He has told me about your barbershop, so we already have plans to be visiting you.
Well, that's God.
So thank you so much.
We got Big Nick, and he always sends up blessings. So there you go.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much, Woody. Well, Madam President, we want to thank you for spending this half hour with us. We know that you are pressed for time. There's a lot more that you have to do. We want you to know that our door is open. We'll remind people of that upcoming event that'll take place at the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ. But for right now, we wish you Godspeed and all the best as you take up this new duty.
Thank you so much. And I will be joining your show again.
I look forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, she is the new president of the Philadelphia chapter of the NAACP, Catherine Hicks. Thank you so much, ma'am, and we wish you well. All right.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay. Hey, folks, you know, it's good to see institutions like the NAACP being revitalized by fresh blood being infused into it. I mean, that was a great slate of names that we heard from the new president, and I'm looking forward to having those folks come on as the need arises. But more importantly, I'm looking forward to folks like you who will come out and be supportive. Like Representative Darisha Parker said, it's time for people in the community to reinvigorate their connection and their commitment. We're living in an age where commitment is an ancient dance, where people don't want to be committed much to anything. People get married as a matter of temporary selection, like, okay, why don't you and I hook up for now, and let's see how it works out the next 5 or 6 years. Commitment is something that is passé in the minds of people. But what built this community, and I don't care what you say, there are people who say, hey, the black community is this, black community is not that. If the black community had not been structured, organized, and willing to be cooperatively engaged one with the other, we would have perished from the face of the earth as it regards our being in the United States. The ability to build up the great institutions that have been built up and to have the great movements that have come through this great community is demonstrative of the fact that there is a willingness to work together and an ability to manufacture and promote vision and the courage to undertake the duties necessary to see that vision through. And now the NAACP is back on the road to becoming a vital force in this city. I appreciate Catherine Hicks, and I'm looking forward to working with her and with all of her officers, her first vice president, who is my colleague, Bishop J. Lewis Felton, who's also, let me just put this where it can be handled, he's also a pretty fair preacher. Let me put that out there in case you have missed it and you didn't know. J. Lewis Felton occupies a pulpit with some meaning and intentionality. And if you have not had an opportunity to hear him, look, my brother who went to a funeral said, man, there was a guy from Philadelphia preaching a funeral. And he described him. I said, that's J. Lewis Felton. He said, yeah, that was his name. Let me tell you, you know, we're talking about a man of some means. Melvin Jonikin, Cameron Bonds, Shirley Roberts, Chandra Deal, Shirley Jordan, Shirley Williams, and all of the executive board members. We wish you well, and we thank you for being willing to serve in this capacity. All right. Well, folks, it is now, let's see, it's 26 minutes away from the hour of 6 o'clock. Why not have a break a little bit early, and then I'll come back and share a story. I knew you were going to do that.
Excuse me.
You know, whenever we take the break early, we hear this rattling of the saber from the peanut gallery.
Objection, Your Honor.
Hey, you know, have you heard the latest on Harvey Weinstein, Eric?
No, what now?
Well, he is being extradited to California to face some more charges for sexual assault. You know, I've always wondered about Harvey Weinstein. Looks like a gentleman where somebody used his face to clean cobwebs out of the corner. He always had that kind of fuzzy look around, you know, like I need a shave look around.
I think what we're talking about is, I think you already said it. I was going to say the dusty look.
Yes, you know, and I said, I'm wondering, can that really be true? Did he really fancy himself to be, you know, the man that he was?
So that's a conversation. I love this conversation of when people carry themselves in a way that they look a certain way, but they like, man, I don't care what I look like. You know, my name is such and
yes,
such.
Yes.
And you know, you talk to me so and so because I'm such and such, and it's like, and you're looking kind of dusty there, such and such.
Yeah, you know, you're trying to mac all the sisters. I mean, a little bit of humility, I think, is something that we all ought to have. I mean,
do you think that I think that ruins it for some of the brothers, of all races here. I'm talking about brothers of all of us who just wanna, you know, like Mac or just like lay it down, be a nice guy, and this guy's like, you know, that are like little dusty that ruin it, and the young lady you try to talk to is like, I feel weird because I've been talked to, and you might be another guy that's weird too.
I mean, look, everybody knows that any person, man or female, can be attractive. You know, you don't have to be some matinee idol to be attractive. You don't have to be Hollywood handsome to be attractive. Yeah, yeah, you know, and have a little bit of humility. But I'm going to ask you a question that men never want to answer. I'm going to ask you. I mean, who do you think is a really handsome man? Now, you know, you don't have to say me. I mean, we work together. You don't have to impress me, and you know.
Oh, good, because I wasn't going to.
Oh, ow. Oh, burn. Oh, man. I mean, red hot poker burn. I mean, dag. Just slice and dice burn. Okay.
But you're chilling, and when you put on a suit, man, you out here just commanding, Judge. You know, when you want to, man. When you want it. But when you want to. But
true.
In an honest conversation,
I have never been deceived into thinking that I was good looking. That's not something. You know, I always said, Lord, please help me to develop a character that would make me halfway acceptable to people, because that's just, I know better. You know, look, you know, at the School for the Blind, they've always listed me as last in the looks department. But, I mean, when you think about the people who are, you know, stars and all,
did you want me?
Who do you think?
Michael Ealy.
Hazel-eyed guy. Mm-hmm. Light complexion, okay.
And then another one would be Idris Elba.
Okay, yeah, you know, I knew Idris Elba I knew his name would be there. Mm-hmm. You know, for me, if God said, look, I'm gonna let you keep your character, your personality, and you know, you'll still be you. But if you'd like to look like somebody else, you can pick somebody else. You know what I'd pick?
Who would you pick?
No, I'm only kidding.
I knew it. I was like, walking that one. Once I looked at you, and I was like, oh, I know what he's exactly about to say.
Blair Underwood.
Yeah, he's a smooth brother. Shout out to
Blair Underwood. I would have to say, I'd have to say Blair Underwood. You know, all of the other, like, I used to hear people talking about Morris Chestnut, and what was the actor's name? The model. He was a supermodel. Brother's name, I can't remember his name.
Well,
there are a bunch of women right now getting dry heaves remembering his name, but it'll come back to me. He was the #1 African American male model in the country for a number of years.
I didn't keep track of that. Nope.
Oh, look, when after the break, I will tell you his name, because you will know it when I tell you his name. I mean, he was the #1 African American model, if not the #1 male model, period, in the country throughout the 90s for sure, and
90s.
Early 2000s. Oh yeah. He, you know.
Did he ever become an actor?
He did do a little bit of acting, but look, here it is right here. Somebody sent it to me.
I was waiting on it.
My state rep, Lord, I'm going to watch you, state rep, Tyson Beckford.
Yes.
Yeah, it didn't take no time.
Tyson Beckford. Wow, man. Now, state rep, because you answer that, how you discern that. It's like
she's probably somewhere getting some oxygen right now.
My favorite white road in Philly. Name it. You know, that was the vaguest description black model in the 90s, but not really, I guess.
Look, everybody. Tyson Beckford was just. I see you, state rep, but Tyson Beckford really would walk into a room and ladies would swoon. I'm talking about ladies of all genres, races, and from different planets, because there was something about him that was feral, while at the same time somewhat aristocratic. He He is of Caribbean background. He had, you know, full sculpted facial features, you know, a broad shoulder carriage that and then narrowed at the waist, athletically built. He wasn't a beanpole model. He was full of form, and he looked masculine. And women just fell in love with that gentleman. And you know,
he'll be 50 years old this year, I think.
Yeah, you know,
no,
he's
last
been around
year.
for a little
He's
bit.
50 years old.
I got so tired of it, you know, going into places and people saying, "Are you Tyson Beckford?" I mean, really, after a while. No. And then they would go get their eyes checked and come back and say, "Please forgive me for that mistake, sir." All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. It is now 19 minutes away from the hour of 6 o'clock. No, seriously, I got to ask this question, just for the fun of it. Look, be the same person. You know, you're the same person, the same character, same life. But if the Almighty could say, now, you know how you go to the barbershop and they have the pictures of all those haircuts? So you can have any of these haircuts you want. If the Almighty could say to you, now, you can look like any of these brothers that you want. Fellas, and I'm asking you fellas, who would you want to take on? Now, ladies, if you decide to call, what I'd like to ask you is, and don't let your husbands hear this because you might be without one. If you could have the same husband, the same person, you know, the same husband, but he would just wake up and look like somebody else tomorrow, who might you wish for him to look like? I'm just interested in your answers. I got some more stories to talk about. We got more stuff to talk about on a serious way, but why not have a little fun on a Tuesday? Back right after this, folks. This is WURD, AM 900, 96.1 FM. I'm Nick. You know who you are. We'll be back to see if we can exchange notes after this.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good afternoon. Watch for an accident on the Schuylkill Expressway westbound between King of Prussia and 202. This had all the lanes blocked for a while this afternoon. The left lane has since reopened. The right lane still blocked, and we still have traffic at a crawl from the Blue Route 476. Elsewhere, more delay 76 westbound, stop and go University Avenue to the Vine. Eastbound backs up 202 to Gulf Mills. The Blue Route to the Conchie Curve and Montgomery Drive to the Vine Expressway. 5th Street Tunnel, that's still shut down northbound between the Ben Franklin Bridge and Callow Hill Street because of a down pole. We've got delays on the Boulevard northbound Wissahickon Avenue to Broad Street. Report brought to you by Indeed.com. Shift hiring gears with Indeed. They go beyond the resume with 135 skills tests that help candidates show their abilities on things like computer proficiency or customer service. Indeed skills tests reduce hiring time by 27% on average. Visit Indeed.com/credit. And for more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. I'm Jason Lee with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Enterprise Exterminators, located at 4943 Wayne Avenue, has been in business since 1976 and can eliminate whatever pest problems you have. Enterprise specializes in bed bugs, lanternflies, and termites. Call for your free termite inspection today. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Enterprise Exterminators, servicing Philadelphia, Delaware, and New Jersey. Call now, 215-849-7070. Ask us about the WURD and senior discounts.
Do you have what it tastes to solve Her's Flavor Mix Mystery? One chip, 3 classic Her's flavors, thousands of possible combinations. Pick up a bag of Her's Flavor Mix Mystery and make your guess online today. Your guess could win you $10,000 and a year's supply of Her's. Visit Her's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for more info on how to enter. Solve the mystery. Break out the Her's. No purchase necessary. Legal residents of the 50 United States, D.C., 18 years of age and older. Ends 8/31/21. To enter and for official rules, including odds and prize descriptions, visit campaign.rtm.com/Her's Flavor Mix Mystery / void where prohibited.
Are you an educator looking for a life-changing opportunity? Youth Build Philly Charter School might be the home for you. Apply to Youth Build to join a family of educators dedicated to learning and growing with young people. Check out current opportunities at youthbuildphilly.org or follow them on social media at YouthBuildPHL. Join Youth Build today. Youth Build is now accepting applications for the class of 2021.
The COVID-19 vaccine
and the thing I heard about the vaccine...
Sure, but do we really know about the long-term effects? Did you read that thing on the internet?
He heard from his cousin that they don't...
Okay, you're hearing a lot of talk about the COVID-19 vaccines these days. So how do you find out if getting vaccinated is right for you? by talking to someone you already trust, your doctor or healthcare provider. They'll answer your questions so you can decide what's best for you and your family. Go to getvaccineanswers.org to find out more. That's getvaccineanswers.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Join WURD for the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour. This year, we celebrate West Oak Lane, Mantua, North, West, and South Philly. I'm Tiffany Bacon. I will broadcast live from a different neighborhood each Friday from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. Our next stop is Penrose Playground, 1101 West Susquehanna Avenue, Friday, July 23rd. Enjoy a special feature on the Summer Olympics, meet special guests, and stand with WURD. Be a part of the movement to amplify the voice of the Black community. Show your support and join or renew your 4WURD membership on site. That's the Summer of Freedom Neighborhood Love Tour at Penrose Playground from 10 a.m. until 12 noon. WURD, showing love this summer.
The WURD Radio Neighborhood Love Tour is sponsored by Comcast and supported by Pico, Keystone First, and Ready Set Philly. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at 4WURD. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Back with you, ladies and gentlemen, here on your favorite place to converse one with the other, WURD Radio. I'm Nick Taliaferro. Evening Words here. The time is now 13 minutes away from the hour of 6 o'clock. Feeling a whole lot better today, because a good friend of mine is feeling a whole lot better today, even though we are still facing some challenges. Boy, oh boy, life can throw them at you. But you know, there's an old song that says you can smile when you can't say a word. I'm discovering that picking up your old kit bag and putting a smile on the southern portion of your facial hemisphere and trying to let your heart feel a little bit of cheer is the best way to face sadness. You know, mourn when you must, but keep walking down that road and try to find a way to smile if you can. All right, 215-634-8065. I know men wouldn't respond to this. I know you brothers. We have egos, and all of us want to feel that we're enough all by ourselves. But was there something there, Eric? Did I hear you?
No, we got a call from a friend. Shout out to Sultan Ahmed. He said, I want to look like me 30 years ago.
See?
That was clever. I love that, Sultan. Shout out to that brother. He was calling in to make sure that he didn't miss the WVON simulcast. I said, no, brother, that's tomorrow. Just making sure that he was on time. So shout out to brother Sultan.
Tell him just sit down and just wait a day. He's a day earlier. A day early, but we're going to get right to it.
Yeah, he's always on the move.
For those of you who don't know what we're speaking about when we talk about the simulcast, we are going to have a landmark broadcast tomorrow. Two of the behemoth radio stations in the country, especially when it comes to black audiences. WURD Radio here in the city of Philadelphia, we are a signature station when it comes to addressing the needs and concerns of the African American community, not only in Philadelphia, but through the agency of the internet. We are all around the world, not to mention the nation. And then our sister station in Chicago, WVON, it used to stand for the Voice of the Negro, but now those letters mean something a little bit different, but it is an African-American owned talk station in the city of Broad Shoulders. And tomorrow we will combine our efforts to talk about the topic, the art and science of urban violence. Not simply of how people do and perpetrate violence, but the art and science that surrounds confronting it, understanding it. For those of you who are just tuning in and listening, I want you to know that we're going to take a very studied approach on discussing this. We're not just going to come together and say, oh, violence, somebody needs to do something. These children ain't right. No. We're going to understand what this violence is. You already know that here on Evening Words that you will not have the conversation with Nick Taliaferro and talk about senseless violence. Senseless means that you can't understand it, so therefore either kill it or just get used to it. I know and I recognize that There's no such thing as senseless violence. There may be violence that you don't understand. There may be violence that annoys you. But somewhere, to someone, it is making sense. And the idea is to understand why it makes sense to them so that you can sensibly construct methods and mechanisms to derail the violence that they are justifying in their own mind. The man who picks up a high-powered rifle and walks into a stadium and unleashes a volley of hot lead in the direction of innocent people is not committing an act of senseless violence. He's committing an act of perhaps random violence. He's committing an act of destruction, but somewhere in his mind there is a reason for why he's doing it. Our job is to figure out what it is that causes that person to act that way, particularly in our African American communities, where, let's go ahead and tell the truth to ourselves if to nobody else, where most of these acts of violence nowadays, this gunplay, most of these acts are taking place in African American communities. Senseless violence? Are you saying that people who are more melanated than others are more prone to making no sense? Of course not. There are reasons for the violence that we are seeing in our communities, and our job is to understand the reasons, the precipitators, so that we can do things intentionally to thwart those precipitating factors and then turn that community toward a more peaceful way of engagement. So tomorrow, on this show, now it'll start from the beginning of my program, but we will link up with WVON at 5 o'clock tomorrow evening, and we will go for a full 90 minutes comparing notes, introducing you to some of the people in Chicago who are trying to thwart violence there, and sharing with our Chicago friends some of the people here in Philadelphia who are doing their best to bring down the tide of violence. My colleagues from Chicago tomorrow will be Matt McGill and Kimberly Egoin, who are the host of the Drive Time program in the Windy City, and we're looking forward to having a vibrant conversation. Hopefully we'll get a chance to invite some of you on to share your thoughts with our brothers and sisters in Chicago. That's tomorrow. The art and science of urban violence. What a simulcast this is going to be. Brought to you and sponsored by Einstein Healthcare. Folks, we're looking forward to this. I hope that you can join us. Yesterday, Sister Barbara asked if we could share what the program would look like. We're going to start off that making the case and creating a kind of mental roadmap of what's going on in our city, sharing some statistics, comparing one year with the next. And then we'll bring on some individuals who will give us official responses to what's going on in our cities as far as the violence is concerned. Compare a little notes, see what Chicago's doing, see what Philadelphia's doing, and then we'll break into the broader discussion by introducing some individuals who have some grassroots community-based programs. I'll be bringing before you individuals that you have already met before. We'll be bringing, Mr. Casher and Steve Pickens of Philly Truce together. We'll talk about an innovative approach to bringing justice to bear upon young people before they become criminalized. That's under the aegis and the direction of the Metropolitan Christian Council of the city of Philadelphia. We'll be speaking with the Black Men's Community Council and talking about some of the work that they have been advancing, and they're just getting started doing so many good things. This is going to be a landmark program, folks. Do not miss it. That's tomorrow. The Art and Science of Urban Violence. Don't miss it. Starts tomorrow. Okay. Hey, wow, we're almost up at 6 o'clock. What has happened? Let me share with you a couple of things that we want to talk about. You men out there who just are afraid to admit that there are men better looking than you. You know it. Blair Underwood is a better looking guy than I am. I'm not saying he's a better person, but he's a better looking guy than I am. Well, so is Idris Elba. Okay. So what's Ely's name? I forget his name. Ely, this is his name. Michael Ely. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so is he. All right, so is a whole bunch of folks in Hollywood. Richard Roundtree. You go ahead and name them, Denzel Washington. You know, and look, you gotta admit, you know, some suave-looking brothers. If you could just wake up and look differently and look like one of them, which one would you choose? I know you don't want to talk about it because, you know, the ego is too sensitive. 215-634-8065. Let me share with you a couple of other stories before we get into the 6 o'clock hour, because there's a whole lot going on. We shared with you the story about Texas removing the requirement to teach that the Ku Klux Klan is morally wrong. Texas said, nah, you don't have to teach that. You can just say the Ku Klux Klan, that they didn't wash their sheets with Tide. I guess that's all that you need in Texas. We talked about Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein didn't really fill out that story. Harvey Weinstein, who was really right there at the beginning of the Me Too movement. Harvey Weinstein on one side, Bill Cosby on the other side. He's 69 years old, already serving. People always say, how come they only do this to black people? Well, Harvey Weinstein is serving a 23-year sentence in New York after being convicted of rape and sexual assault. He is now being sent over across country to California to face 11 more counts of rape, sexual battery, and other charges stemming from incidents that involve 5 Los Angelinos. Now, if he's convicted, he could face up to 140 years to life. I doubt very seriously if he will survive that. But one of the most powerful people in Hollywood, in jail, getting ready to go back to Hollywood again, not to make a movie this time, but to face charges. All right, good people, it's time for us to take a break, and then we'll come back. When we come back, I want to share with you another story. I don't know if all of you heard the story about Chick-fil-A. Many of you like their sandwiches, but because Chick-fil-A, well, why should I tell you now?
Why are you coming from my, you know what?
You like Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, I like Chick-fil-A.
I have never. Well, obviously, I haven't. I mean,
no, G, tell me, why don't you eat Chick-fil-A? Tell everybody. Tell everybody you grass-loving.
I think when a bird dies, you should bury it.
tell everybody you grass-loving rabbit.
I know. I eat some fish now. I mean, I'm glad the doctor told me to eat some fish.
Tree-loving giraffe.
Yeah. I mean, but there are so many decent non-meat substitutes nowadays. There's
Impossible.
No need to eat it. Man, he is so good these days.
Yes.
I mean, but look, if you want to be a cadaver-eating saint, I get it. I understand that. You know, just go ahead and zombie your way to better health. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We can talk about that too. It's actually 2 minutes away from the hour, 6 o'clock. You're listening to Evening Words. We'll be back after this.
Hey, Philly, unless you're planning on enjoying summer vibes in the same sweatpants you wore for the past year, it's time to change things up. That's right, that Philly summer feeling is almost here. The city is ready, and so are all the shops, restaurants, and museums you've been missing. Get vaxxed, get dressed, and get back to all the things you love about Philadelphia. Go to ReadySetPhilly.com today to plan your triumphant return.
Between family dinners, bedtime stories, and study sessions, Pico knows that life never stops moving. So if you need help paying your energy bills, there are financial programs available, like the Customer Assistance Program, or CAP, that offers a monthly credit that can lower your gas and electricity payments. Learn how Pico can help keep your life moving with CAP. See if you qualify at pico.com/CAP.
Hey, WURD family, did you hear? It's official. The Colorectal Cancer Alliance just announced the new age for colon cancer screenings has been officially lowered to age 45 for everyone. If you are 45 or older, it's time to get screened. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner to register for your free at-home screening test. Did you know colon cancer is largely preventable with on-time screening? And there's a 90% survival rate when caught early. African Americans are 20% more likely to get colon cancer and about 40% more likely to die from it than most other groups. So for the next 3 months, you can go to WURDradio.com and click on the Go to Know banner for your free at-home screening test. A screening navigator will contact you to ask a few questions and help you get screened. It's that simple. Again, just go to WURDradio.com, click on the Go to Know banner, and fill out the form to request your free at-home screening test. Go to Know today.
Want the latest latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media. This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently black. Talk Media. WURD. This is Word Radio. 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Black. Talk Media. Word TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at ForWord. Word TV. Black. Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on Word Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, Raphael did not. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been rebuffed, and I will share with you what my friend Raphael Suleiman said on Facebook. I tell you. First, Phyllis Williams said, Eric, just face it, you just like to use the word chicks. That's why he likes Chick-fil-A. I'll tell you about Chick-fil-A in just a moment and the story about them. But first, let me take on the comments made by my brother, Raphael Suleiman. And I love the last name, Raphael. Love it. Absolutely do. But this is what he said. A confident man never compares what he looks like to celebrities, Reverend Nick. Everybody has to become comfortable in their own skin and appearance after a certain age. What you're asking about is a juvenile way of thinking, brother man. No offense. And then he gives a laugh face. Okay, no offense taken, of course. The thing that makes talk radio so much fun is we get a chance to disagree. And then I get a chance to correct folks, like I'm about to do now. You know, a confident man, now this is the first assertion, a confident man never compares what he looks like to celebrities. Why not? I mean, is that true, that a confident person doesn't compare what he or she looks like to somebody else? I don't think that. I think it's a sign of confidence to make the comparison and accept it. For example, Michael Jordan is a better basketball player than I am. Now, I know that shocks Eric Nixon because he heard that I had game, that they called me Nick Buckets back in the day. And it wasn't because I mopped floors. But a confident man can say, you know what? Michael Jordan is a better player than I am. You know, because comparison is not a way of necessarily putting oneself down. It is a way of simply saying that by comparison, this is where I stand in this matter. Let me go further than that. I'm a minister. A minister is one of the things we measure is our effectiveness in the pulpit as a preacher. I'm going to tell you this right now. Reverend Gus Roman is a better preacher than I am. Now, he isn't preaching now, but in his day when he was in a pulpit, and when I heard him preach, he made me want to be better. A confident man accepts the comparison, not necessarily determining his own value based on the comparison, but you accept the comparison. I think, and folks, I need you to tell me if I'm wrong. Now, it is true. I will readily acknowledge that I've been self-deprecating to the point of times as to not give myself credit that perhaps I deserved. I think all human beings wrestle with that from time to time. I think all human beings wrestle with it from time to time where they realize that, hey, I've been too self-deprecating, you know. That may happen. But the truth be told, I recognize that there's some people who have some laudable traits. The Bible says, you know, envy the best gifts, you know. And there's nothing wrong with it. So Raphael, this is where we disagree, where you say a confident man never compares what he looks like to celebrities. All right, that's one. Everyone has to become comfortable in their own skin and appearance after a certain age. I think that you can be comfortable in your own skin and also be willing to compare yourself with others. Now, if I'm wrong, I need somebody to tell me. 215-634-8065. If I need correction, I stand to be corrected. 215-634-8065. My good friend, Raphael Suleiman, who listens to this show, and I'm grateful for it, said, you know, a confident man never compares what he looks like to celebrities. Everybody has to become comfortable in their own skin and appearance after a certain age. And he says, what you're thinking about is a juvenile way of thinking, brother man. No offense, none taken whatsoever. You have the perfect right to be wrong. But we'll find out. We'll see, because people will call in and tell both of us who we are. When I look at Blair Underwood, I say, no, there's a sharp-looking young man right there, you know, sharp-looking young man. Now, being him would not make me a better person. Looking like him would not make me a better person. But he's a good-looking guy. That's one man's thought. Tell me if you think I'm off on this one. And then I'll tell you about Chick-fil-A in just a moment. But first, we go to George in West Philadelphia. George, what say you on this topic, sir?
Good evening, Nick. To you, man, you're exposing yourself, and my kids are going to look like me and not somebody else, buddy. And you exposed yourself. You can do you know what? Drop
I don't know.
it, Nick.
Say that again now. Say it.
I said,
I'm exposing.
Drop it, man.
I'm exposing
Drop
myself.
It, drop it. Yeah, you exposed yourself.
How did I expose myself?
All right, to come on like this, man, you've been exposing yourself for the last, I don't know how long since you've been on there, man. Tell them who you are, because you sure ain't a man.
Oh, wow. You don't think so?
No.
Gee, well, then tell me why I'm not a man. I'd love to hear that.
Because you want to be looking like a man, all right, pick one out and be looking like a man then, man. Don't be yourself. You're a chump.
Wow, man, you're pretty insulting today, aren't you?
No, you are. You insulting me, man, for trying to pretend that my kids are going to look like me. They ain't going to look like you.
I never said anything about your kids, my friend.
Well, there you go, man. You don't know how to say it, man, because you're trapped.
Wow. I mean, you know, I got to tell you, you know, one of the things that makes this job challenging is that people will call in and insult you without even understanding who you are. I don't think you know me well enough to say some of the things you've said.
Keep the phone so that nobody can talk or expose you, don't you? You keep running your mouth. Let somebody talk back to you sometime.
I just did that.
All right. Case is closed, man. You know where you are, don't you?
All right, so let me make sure I get it straight before you go, though. I'm a chump. I'm not a man. What else did you say now?
You know who you are.
Obviously not. But hey, George, thank you for giving me the tips. But obviously, I don't know.
The only reason I entertain that, letting them say,
oh no, it's no problem.
You know, because I know how you do. It's like
no problem whatsoever.
You ever entertaining conversations with people that want to tell you something about yourself and go, you know what, let's just play this out.
Well, first of all, George doesn't know me, and I don't know George. This is a talk show, so on a talk show, you compare notes sometime and opinions, and opinions are what they are, and when a person calls and they're insulting to you, it really, it's an opinion. And now, if they're right, you want to change. If George said something to me that was right, he might have been looking at me on Facebook Live right now, and if he said, "Look, man, you've got a boogie in your nose," then I need to correct myself, and I don't mind that. I mean, everybody stands to face correction from time to time, and reproof is something that a wise person will receive. But if a person calls and says, "You're exposing yourself, you're a chump, you're not a man, you're saying my children aren't going to look like me," I'm trying to figure out where is this coming from, because you don't know. Now, the unfortunate thing about being a talk show host is people will listen to you, they'll get opinions, and then maybe one day they'll meet you and they'll know who you are, and you don't know who they are. And I've had this happen, man, being in a restaurant, people will watch you the whole time. And then they'll come by and say something snide on their way out the door. But, look, you just have to accept it. What a person thinks about me is their business. I mean, that's their business. And they have every right to think it. And because I'm a talk show host, every once in a while they have the right to call in and to express it. Just like George just did. I invited him to call. He called in, and that's okay. I didn't agree. I don't agree with Raphael shared his point on Facebook. I respect and appreciate his willingness to articulate his point. I don't agree with it. And that's what makes a talk show the exciting exchange of ideas that it is. George, thank you for calling. You have a point. But if you wear a hat and comb your hair right, nobody will notice. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at a couple of other things. I said that I would tell you about.
I'm waiting.
About Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. For those of you who don't know, Chick-fil-A is one of the fast food stores that has always prided itself on being a cut above, some of the other fast food joints.
Their service is amazing.
Is it really? I don't think I have ever been in a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect you to.
Yeah, I mean, I've always seen it
Would you
around,
even eat the fries because I think they use peanut oil?
Well, peanuts okay.
Yeah,
I mean, and look, Boardwalk fries used to be fried in peanut oil and gave them that really great flavor.
Oh yes, especially with the crab salt, the Old Bay,
Yeah.
Oh, you lost me. I don't know if we can be friends anymore.
Do you like crabs?
I don't like crabs, but I like the Old Bay seasoning.
You like the seasoning? Oh, okay. Okay, because crabs are basically wet insects.
There you go.
Crabs are basically wet insects.
And then we've talked about that. You can eat grasshopper, right? Did we ever talk about that?
Yes, we can eat. The Bible says you can eat grasshoppers and locusts. Other hopping insects like that.
Good luck catching them, though.
Well, I mean, I know a lot of my favorite representative just showed me her Chick-fil-A cup. Let me tell the story.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Chick-fil-A has fallen into some disfavor with some people because Chick-fil-A has a background that is, quote, Christian, unquote. And I would put the word Christian in quotes because they are of the sort of conservative Christianity that gets questioned by others. I mean, they are what you would call evangelical, the ones that our guest last week, Anthea Butler, took to task in her book, White Evangelical Racism. They're very stalwart about their religious beliefs, and they have every right to do so. And in doing that and supporting the conservative evangelical agenda, they are relatively anti-LGBTQ. This has been going on for a while, and some places have said that we will not support them because of their position on LGBTQ issues. They were going against having to support through insurance payments individuals who wanted to get abortions. These were things that make them who they are. But my understanding is that they make a hellacious chicken sandwich. Is that true, Eric? I'm not sure. It might be true. All right. Now, the thing is that Chick-fil-A wanted to open a restaurant. They wanted to have a campus location at a school that I'm very familiar with, the school that is the home of Touchdown Jesus, Notre Dame University in South Bend, Indiana. I went to school 30 miles up the road from Notre Dame. And they wanted to have a restaurant there, but many of the Notre Dame students said that we don't want a Chick-fil-A here because of their position of being anti-LGBTQ. And so it once again raised the issue about Chick-fil-A and their staunch religious beliefs. But coming to their rescue, making the situation worse for them, to be honest, was no less a stalwart supporter of all things, quote, religious. than one Republican senator of South Carolina known as Lindsey Graham. Now, for those of you who don't know, for years, Lindsey Graham has been considered by many individuals who happen to be gay, to be a closeted gay male. Many people say that. In one particular LGBT news source, The Blade, they spoke about, in an article, the article was called "The Sad, Closeted Hypocrisy of Lindsey Graham." Now, Lindsey Graham has often taken the side of religious conservatives, and it is stated by many individuals that his closeted life has been revealed by individuals in Washington, D.C. You know, personally, it's not my business, but people are saying if he's gay, he's gay. If he's not, he's not. But what they don't like is what appears to be the hypocrisy. He came out in support. He came out in support of Chick-fil-A, saying that they had his full support. And let me read it. He says, "I want everyone," I'm quoting him now. Lindsey Graham said, "I want everyone in South Carolina and across America to know I have Chick-fil-A's back. I hope we don't have to, but I will go to war for the principles Chick-fil-A stands for." Now, those principles are part of the evangelical right, anti-LGBTQ, anti-abortion, of course, and some other things that are a stringent part of the thinking of members of that community. I must tell you that a lot of folks who frequent Chick-fil-A, they don't know their politics, and many people say, look, where I buy my food, it doesn't have anything to do with politics. If I want to drink a certain soft drink, I'm not going to ask what their political beliefs are. But I will tell you, I think it is time to be an intelligent consumer. That it is time to know if you are supporting an entity, an agency, a corporation, a store that opposes moral or ethical views that you stand for. Now, the thing about it is Notre Dame. Now, you got to think about it from this perspective. Notre Dame is a Catholic school who already takes a pretty harsh line against LGBTQ issues, even though the recent pope, the new pope rather, the pope who is currently in office, has softened that position somewhat. Still, the Catholic Church has taken a pretty stringent stand against it, even though it is clearly known that the Catholic Church has had their issues with closeted individuals who, because they cannot live their lives openly for who they are, in their closeting, they found themselves, you know what they say, what you fail to be able to own on a straight, well-lit street, you will perform on a dark and crooked pathway. And this has happened quite a bit in churches where there are strong positions taken, strong and stringent positions taken, and where people are afraid to acknowledge who they are and what they are. Let's go back to the phone lines. Tyrone in North Philadelphia will take your call before we take our next break. Thank you for the call. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Well, good afternoon, Brother Nick.
Good afternoon. It's me, the chump.
Well, you know, that's somebody that loves you. That's somebody that loves you and loves you dearly. Anytime someone can share with you what he shared, it must be nothing but love.
You know what? I accept it as such. Misled love, misdirected love, but love nevertheless, because he's listening to the show.
Well, you know, with things being in such haywire and confusing, and, you know, we get it twisted. But no, I don't. I think there's pure love there. You know, that's pure. I think that's pure. I don't think that's misunderstood.
Well, You know what? I'm going to go ahead and accept it that way because it makes life a lot easier.
And again, remember, we are warriors of the cross, brother. We got to understand, you know, when Michelle said, when they go low, we go high.
We go high, yeah.
But
well,
you know,
I think I have to climb the Empire State Building on that last, brother.
No, I'm just telling you, brother. I think that was love, man. Yeah. Fair.
Well,
but you know, Nick, first of all, beautiful interview, man. It was so good to hear my sister from the Sun, and knowing that we need every entity, organization, household to get involved with, you know, what we are confronted with right now. And for my sister to jump in the front of the line, you know, to take the leadership of that organization, man, I'll just commend her and just thank her for, you know, her willingness to serve. And as you said, you know, we don't have a lot of folks right now doing that, but believe me, there are a lot of folks who are doing things and it's just not, you know, making the front page. But Nick, I again, man, I'm just calling, man, because I'm still feeling, and I know we closed out the program with me on that. But Nick, I'm just going to try to reiterate and hope you say it again. You know, who is in these young folks' lives that will allow them to do the things that they do. And you know, and I say it all the time. You know, I hear folks saying, you know, get rid of this, get rid of that. This one ain't doing this, this one ain't doing that. We need to do this, we need to do that. And for whatever reason, I'm like, well, why the shooter is out the equation? You know, the shooter got to be in the equation because there is something going on.
Without question.
And they may need, you know, I ain't saying guidance in it, but they may need help if we can find the help and give them the help that they need. So I just wanted to bring that up again, Nick. And again, thank you, man, for putting it on the page.
Thank you for putting that spin on that caller. I mean, I appreciate it. If you saw, I treated him with kindness, and as you always want to do. I have to be in a really bad mood with a really short temper to return to a person that which I perceive that they're giving to me. You know, you learn how to. You don't meet anger with anger, or you don't meet castigation with castigation. You try to treat people in the way that you wish that they would treat you. You know, model the behavior that you require and see if you can make the world a little bit better. But Tyrone, thank you so much for that call. We've got to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll get right back at it, ladies and gentlemen. Going to have a whole lot of fun for the last few moments here. That Chick-fil-A thing, though, that's one thing. But I want to take some of these brothers to task. Now, women have no problem saying other women are attractive. They don't. Or admiring the way another woman looks. I've heard women say it, you know, girl, if I had your shape, I would show it. And, you know, and you hear them all the time, complimenting and giving each other affirming strokes. As men, we tend to not be willing to do that. And so I've been taken to task because I said that Blair Underwood's a better looking guy than I am. But, I mean, you know, come on. I think that's not a hard reach. I'm not saying I'm a bad person. I'm not saying that he's a better person. But we were just talking about, you know, appearance. And, I mean, for example, I think a rose bush is prettier than goldenrod. I just do. And that doesn't mean that goldenrod doesn't serve a purpose. It's just that I like rose bushes better because I think they look nicer. It's an aesthetical choice. And fellas are afraid to acknowledge that. I mean, Eric said he wants to look like Michael Ealy. Or Idris
No,
Elba?
I said, you asked me who's handsome.
Or King Kong? Or what?
Wow. Wow, you asked me a question, I answered your question. That's what happened.
Okay, well, yeah.
I
If
think
you
I'm
could look
handsome,
like-
and Nick, you're handsome too. I wish I had Nick's looks.
Well, I'm so grateful. I didn't know you felt that way.
See, look at you laughing. You're uncomfortable. Dishing and can't take it.
Well, now I know that why when you reached across the console to grab my hand, I understand it better now. Well, we on that auspicious note, we'll take our next break. 25 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock, coming along at 7 o'clock. You check in with Sincerely Sarita, Safe Space for Her. That's the name of the program. She'll be coming your way in 35 minutes. We'll be coming right back in just a few. Stand by.
The Broad Street line.
Norristown High Speed line.
I ride the bus.
I ride the trolley. Ursula Linea Azul. Take all of them.
All of them. All of them. Into, out of, and all around the city.
SEPTA is the hometown way to go.
Plan your trip at iSEPTAPhilly.com.
The Mattress Man is a second-generation family-owned mattress specialist business since 1988. Open 7 days a week, located at 7421 Stenton Avenue. The Mattress Man discounts Serta, memory foam, orthopedic, and ComfortTech mattresses every day. You deal directly with the owner, Julian, to ensure you get the best price and best service. The Mattress Man offers same-day delivery on most models to most areas. Ask about the WURD discount. Call 215-424-5550.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon. With so much uncertainty surrounding the upcoming school year, now is the time to take charge of your child's education and give them the tools to make learning fun and safe. Check out Commonwealth Charter Academy, which can make a difference in your child's life. Commonwealth Charter Academy, or CCA, is a K-12 public cyber charter school with nearly 20 years of experience providing a flexible, stable, online education in the comfort of your home. Enroll today at ccaeducate.me. Your child will receive 1. A world-class accredited education streamed directly into your home at no cost to you. 2. A laptop, headphones, assistance with accessing the internet, and learning materials all provided at no cost to you. 3. A safe learning environment with no bullying or security concerns. Join the nearly 2,500 students from Philly who already attend CCA. The school year begins September 8th. Enroll now at ccaeducate.me.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you complete a job, you feel so much better. You'll sleep better. You'll feel satisfied. You may even cook a fancy meal and share it with a neighbor when you complete a job. You will rest better and breathe. Breathe, everybody. Let me hear you breathe. Ooh, breathe again. Breathe again. It's very important to breathe. Ooh, say, you have completed a job. Well, after the job is completed, it's time to dance. It's time to tap your feet. And you're going to listen to something called Shake, Rattle, and Roll by Joe Turner. Here it comes.
Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Shake, rattle, and roll. Well, you won't do right to save your doggone soul.
You know that feeling? Like every door is closing and you just can't see a way out? Being unemployed, underemployed, or just out of school can feel like that. But when you find the right tools, suddenly everything just clicks. FindSomethingNew.org offers resources that help develop new skills. Skills that can position you for careers in today's growing industries, from healthcare and manufacturing to cybersecurity and alternative energy. Find your path to a new career at FindSomethingNew.org. A message from the Ad Council.
This is not a fad for us. We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are undeniably, indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media. WURD. WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at forward WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Getting back to the phone lines momentarily, coming along at 7 o'clock, half hour from now. You check in with Sincerely Sarita, save space for her. Yeah, you know, some songs... a song came to mind just a second ago, and I'm coming right to you, Bruce, but a song came to mind, you know, she'll be coming around the mountain. When she comes, she'll be coming around the mountain. What's that song about? Why is she coming around the mountain? Did you know, Eric?
Yeah, there's a lot of songs that have...
she'll be coming around the mountain. When she comes, she'll be coming around the mountain.
Hidden connotations.
Is there something I'm missing in that one?
Maybe.
She'll be riding 6 white horses when she comes. You know, here's another one. You know, sitting by the dock of the bay, sitting here with us. You know, yeah. You know, watching the tide roll in, watch it roll away again. I mean, it's just, I'm not doing much of anything. Oh, well, let's get to the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. If there's wisdom to be sought, you can always find it with our next caller. He is Bruce of Mount Airy. Bruce, thank you for the call. Welcome to the show, my friend.
That'd be $1.
I can do $1.
That guy was earlier the one that badmouthed you?
Oh, no, he was just voicing an opinion.
I think you misinterpreted what he was saying. You know what he was saying?
What was he saying?
That you're not as nice a person as people think you are. That's what he was saying.
Well, now that's true.
Yeah.
Now that's true.
That's what he was saying. You know, he made it sound worse than what it was. You know, that's what the whole thing was. Like I said, you know, people, who do you like? I like Nick Taliaferro. Why? Because he's a nice guy. Some of these people I thought was nice, like Reggie. No, I won't say his last name, but this guy was a despicable character.
Well, look, let me tell you, to be a talk show host, you've got to have some dirty socks buried somewhere deep down in your soul.
No, you don't. I'm the nicest guy in the world, right? I don't have a bad side.
I'm waiting for the lightning to strike. Okay, go ahead.
No, I am serious. I'm the nicest guy. If there's something I was doing wrong, I would stop doing it. But I think I used to be conceited, but now I'm perfect. You know. See? Matter of fact, I give my right arm to be ambidextrous.
You say what now?
I give my right arm to be ambidextrous. Like that one too, huh?
They're all pretty good, Bruce.
You're supposed to do some of my stuff. You were supposed to give me some of the stuff that was in the book, remember?
That is very true. That is very true. Man, look, you know what it was? I had a pretty rough weekend. And,
how rough was it?
It was so rough. I get no respect.
Oh, Rodney Dangerfield, he was the best that ever did it, boy.
Oh, man. I mean, you know, some of these comedians are, first of all, you know, people don't realize how much intelligence it takes to be funny.
Yeah, well, you're talking to the funniest man in the world when you know. No, but I'm telling you, man, you know, when you hear a guy like that, and he was just good. You know, he didn't care what he said, you know, and it didn't bother you if he badmouthed you. Like he used to badmouth his wife all the time.
Oh, you know this person?
Huh?
You know this person?
I'm talking about Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield, yeah. Rodney.
Badmouth his wife and kids, you know?
Oh, yeah. Rodney Dangerfield, Phyllis Diller, Moms Mabley. I mean...
I think Mom just copied what she heard other people say. But Rodney just had it, man. That guy, you know, I used to listen to him all day and night, man.
Yeah, I mean, are there any modern comedians that you find funny?
No.
Look, I got to tell you, at times he's profane, but Dave Chappelle is not only is he funny, he's brilliant. You know.
But do you see the show where he did with what's the name? What's the guy's name that has a show on every day?
I'm not sure. The guy who, well, I want you to know how you just described somebody. The guy who has the show on every day.
He comes on every day with the spin the wheels and stuff.
Spin the wheels.
Comes on during the daytime. He has a.
You're talking about the guy who does The Price is Right.
Price is Right. So what happened? He what's his name? Badmouthed him. The guy that died a few weeks ago, the comedian. He had badmouthed him, and he had said the people why do white people like him? And he had said because he makes The guy comes on used to come on in the morning. It makes him look like, you know, Malcolm X.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? What's his name?
The guy who comes on Let's Make a Deal?
Well, that's the show I'm talking about. The guy.
Oh, Brian Gumble.
Brian, he makes him look like Brian Gumble. He makes Brian Gumble look like Malcolm X. That's what he had said about the guy. And so the guy come on his show, and he showed he wasn't a nice guy. He went around killing people and selling drugs and everything. You don't remember that show on Dave Chappelle?
No, who, Dave Chappelle?
On Dave Chappelle's show, he did that.
No, I missed that one. I have to check that out.
You can't go in there and then pull it up, man. That was the best
I have
show
to take a look
did.
at that one. Dave Chappelle. No, I don't agree with everything he says, as in most cases. You know,
I
but
think when he was blind, he was black and blind. He was in charge of the white supremacy.
Oh, where and he divorced his
not Tyrone Biggums.
No, that was the one where Dave Chappelle was a blind Klansman.
Right.
Didn't know he was black.
He didn't know he was black.
And divorced his wife because she was a Negro lover.
His name was like Clarence something.
Who?
I think the character's name was like Clarence something.
Well,
I mean, but that was really a brilliant parody. What he was trying to say is that there are people who hate themselves and are blind to the fact of what they really are.
Yeah.
You know? I guess like this person said about me, I don't really know me. You know.
Well, like I said, I told you what it was. The guy is saying you're not as nice as people think you are. And
but I know that about me.
No,
I'm just trying to make sure you guys don't find out.
No, I don't agree with that. I think that you're really nice. One of the few people I think that really is nice. Because most other people, I couldn't stand them. You know, I pretended I did when I came on their shows and stuff. I'm serious, you know. And I used to see them in person and stuff, and they would act like they liked me. I know they didn't like me because the producer told me.
Eric, don't you go saying things.
Yeah, because Eric might tell me. Yeah, I know what you're saying. But I tell you, man, some people, they don't know how to, they just don't trust people. And you're an example of what I'm talking about. The guy just don't trust you. And I think you're the nicest guy in the world.
I remember once when I was pastoring a church and I made a mistake about something. We were trying to buy some property, and I hadn't sent, there were some forms that were sent in, and I hadn't filled them out and sent them back. And I said, I made a mistake. It's going to take, that means we're going to have to refile and so forth. And I apologized to my church board, and they got really quiet. And then finally, one of the members of the church said, I said, is there a problem? And he said, yeah, you're up there admitting you made a mistake and asking our understanding and being all forthcoming and transparent. And I'm trying to figure out what you're up to. I couldn't believe it.
Like I said, I got five. Like I said, when you get a job doing nothing, don't do nothing. You hear me? I got a job. I was working in welfare fraud, and I started. Another guy came there, and we started going out there doing the fraud investigations and stuff.
Right.
We all ended up getting fired.
Why?
I had one woman who had 120 welfare cases.
Wow.
They had no money to prosecute. You know what I said?
Okay. And so they really didn't want to.
And they hired their friends and bought furniture and stuff, but they had no money to go to court. So they got rid of me and my unit because of that.
Hey, look, I've got to ask you a question before we, and that is, do you feel that it is weak, or do you feel that it is a lack of confidence to say that, hey, there's a guy over there who's really good looking, and man, I tell you what, if I could, if I were to be given an opportunity, I wouldn't mind looking like that guy. Is that weak to you?
Well, put it like this: when I want to see somebody nice, I just look in the mirror. You understand? That's all I used to do. But when Superfly came out, I had a Superfly outfit. I'm serious. I used to wear the Superfly outfit. I wanted to look like him and stuff,
I guess I should have said I wanted to look like Bruce. Well, man, it's always a pleasure, my friend.
Man.
Yeah, look, it's always good to have you in here. That's Bruce from Mount Airy, ladies and gentlemen. Doesn't get any better than that. Raphael wrote me back and said, and look, the title's okay, man. It doesn't matter. He says, men are not fully judged in society at the same level as women when it comes to beauty. So men don't focus on physical appearance as much as women. When men are in the same profession, competition occurs that often leads to comparisons. I don't think that you have to be competing with a person to compare yourself to them. I'll give you a good example. Solomon is a talk show host. Solomon Jones talk show. He's our morning host. Solomon is a better reporter than I am. He's a better reporter than I am. He knows his job when it comes to reporting. He knows how to dig and research. I admire and respect that. It's just he's better at that than I am. Charles Ellison, who is our mid-morning host. Charles is a better journalist than I am. He just is. I mean, you know, he knows how to work his way through a story and how to find the hidden resources that prop the story up. And look, we all cooperatively try to make each other better. I want my show to be the very best show that's on WURD so that Solomon Jones will work to make his show the very best show. And we all have a healthy cooperative way of it's like when I used to play tennis many years ago. You know, it wasn't that I wanted to beat my friends when I played against them. It's that I wanted to play my best so that it would force them to play their best, which would make me try to play my best so that we would improve each other. So it's not a lack of confidence. And when Raphael, when you say that men are not fully judged in society at the same level as women when it comes to beauty, I accept that. You know, women are, it's sad, it's shameful that, you know, a good example is that Michelle Obama, whenever she went to an event, everybody talked about her dress, what kind of dress she was wearing. Oh, what does she have on this time? What does it look like? Her arms out? So Barack Obama wore the same tuxedo for years, and nobody ever even noticed. Because men don't get judged on their appearance as much as women do. However, as men, I mean, this is where the bodybuilding competition comes in. You know, men recognize when something is attractive on another man, when something looks good on them. And I think you can take note of that without belittling yourself, without demeaning yourself, without owning yourself and being look, I know what I am, and I know what I'm not. I know what I am. Look, folks, I am Michelangelo's carving out of marble. No, I'm only kidding. I am just another guy. Hey, let's see. I've got another phone call to take. Phyllis Williams said, there's a fable saying, Georgie Porgy, pudding and pie. Women know how to compliment and be jealous at the same time. Ah, I see, you slick ladies, you slick ladies speaking out of both sides of the old oral edifice. Cliff in Connecticut, thank you for your patience, sir, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Nick, thanks for taking my call. Listen, I kind of want to delve in that a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a little bit more concerned. For example, I would feel uncomfortable if a pastor or religious leader were to say something like that about another man. So,
really?
Say for example, and I'll use you as an example. And
okay.
Nothing offensive, please. Just as an example to make my
no
point.
problem.
If you were to pastor and you were to say, "Wow, you know, that man looks nicer. He has a nice body." You know what I mean? And I heard that. You know, then I would think that there might be some homosexual tendencies or characteristics somewhere. You know what I mean? Now, let me go a little further. Now, you might be able to do that, but then I would ask if you have or are a homosexuality, particularly a pastor. And then even further.
Well, may I ask, what does being a pastor, what does that have to do with it?
Because of the simple fact that I believe homosexuality, and then we'll get your opinion, would you consider that a sin?
Would I consider being a homosexual a sin?
Or
no, let me broaden it. I consider that all of us are sinners, that we are born in sin, that sin is a part of the human condition.
I got that.
And that some people are born with an orientation that has them attracted to people of their own sex.
Okay, so
just like there's some people some people are born with a sexual appetite that makes them, you know, even though they may be married and content with their wife, they just feel like they got to chase the neighbor's wife.
Okay, but that's natural though. A man being attracted to a woman, that's natural. Okay, let me also add.
Okay.
And let me also add to this, Brother Nick, that by design, by the law of nature, by the will of the Creator, in all aspects, in order to produce life, you need the opposite sex. So you need a man and a woman. Even in the animal kingdom, you need a man and a woman. And even in role playing, when you have two heterosexual or homosexual individuals, whether it be lesbian or whether it be two men, still in that relationship, somebody's role playing. Somebody's acting as the woman, somebody's acting as the man. So
that's
the point
not
I'm
true.
making is that
that's not always true. I mean,
okay.
I mean,
but let me get to this.
Okay.
Let me get to this. Okay. I don't have a problem with anybody else doing that or being involved in that. That's their own lifestyle. But I do have an issue with clergy, religious leaders.
Okay.
So if you are gay, if you're homosexual, right, should that be held in the closet, or do you have a right to tell your family, to tell your congregation, and then step down if you are, ask for deliverance, and then let the people decide whether you should be worthy of preaching or remaining a pastor in the church? Do you agree with that, or do you feel that if a pastor's homosexual, that he can remain in the closet and still preach?
That is a very good question that deserves a full answer that I'm going to give on the other side of this break.
Okay, great. I'll listen.
Okay, yeah, I want you to listen. All right, when I come back, I'm going to answer the question that Cliff just posed to me. Eric, we're due for a break, aren't we?
Say what?
We're due for a break, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Then I'm going to take this break, and then I'm going to answer this question fully because it's a very good and very relevant question. I'll come back, answer that question about whether or not I think a minister who's gay should step down from his pulpit and repent and ask for forgiveness right after this brief pause.
Between family dinners, bedtime stories, and study sessions, Pico knows that life never stops moving. So if your energy bills are adding up, Pico has programs available, like new payment options, flexible billing, and financial assistance to help you manage your bills and your budget for the essential energy you and your family need. Learn how Pico can help keep your life moving with payment arrangements. See if you qualify at pico.com/help.
Star Fusion Express is Philly's first choice when cravings for big, juicy burgers, crispy chicken sandwiches, delicious wings, crisp salads, creamy mac and cheese, innovative spring rolls, and delectable fresh seafood kicks in. Did you hear that? Star Fusion Express at 5178 Parkside Avenue in West Philly is your go-to for fresh, flavorful, homemade deliciousness 7 days a week. Learn more and check out the menu at starfusionrestaurant.com. That's starfusionrestaurant.com for the best burgers, chicken sandwiches, wings, salads, spring rolls, and fresh seafood creations in Philly's Parkside neighborhood. Holla!
The Holistic Colonoscopy. No IV sedation. Your colonoscopy is due. You don't have someone to drive you home. You don't want to drink the PrEP. You don't want to be sedated with the Michael Jackson drug propofol. Does that sound like you? Call Blake Gastroenterology at 215-849-4902. Visit the website www.jsblake.com and make your appointment today. Drive yourself home after the Holistic Colonoscopy.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Are you looking for a job? WURD has got you covered. We just launched a brand new job portal featuring jobs from some of Philadelphia's leading companies and arts organizations. If you go to the portal right now, you will see jobs from WURD Radio, the Kimmel Center, Her Foods, Always Best Care, and more. Apply for a job today. Go to our livelihood website at wordworks.com. That's WURDworks.com and click jobs.
WURD TV. We're streaming live video of this conversation right now. Tune in on YouTube at onWURD or on Facebook at forward. WURD TV. Black Talk Media. You're listening to Evening Words, hosted by Nick Taliaferro, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
Well, I've got 5 minutes to answer a question that people have been wrestling about for the last 2,000 years, so let me get started. The question was asked, do I think a minister, if he is gay? Now, it started off with a kind of convoluted presentation that if a pastor says that a man looks nice or he's attractive or has a nice body, that it feels uncomfortable to the caller. I'm not exactly sure why I would feel that way if a pastor said it than if someone else. If, you know, look, I have friends who were bodybuilders, and they would kind of look at each other and how are my delts? How are my, calves? How are my trapezoids? I mean, they were bodybuilders, and so you did that. It just happens, but hey, to each his own. But the question is, should a minister step down? If a pastor is a part of a congregation where the covenant of that people is that that pastor has to be heterosexual, if he is gay, then he should step down, because you can't honestly serve people if you are living outside of the realm of what you covenant to be the behavior that is acceptable. I pastor a church where pastors cannot drink. And if I decided I wanted to be a drinker, I would step down. There are other churches where they have no problem with a pastor taking a drink. So from that church, I shouldn't step down. So if a pastor is a part of a church where the covenant of that church is that you are heterosexual and not homosexual, then you step down. There are pastors who are homosexual, but because their church will not allow them to own that or be that, they closet themselves, they cover themselves, and they restrain themselves from living a life of homosexuality. Some of them even get married and live as a heterosexual, and they just say that for the kingdom's sake, I will wrestle with this part of myself that is. This is what I believe. Nature misassigns. For example, my sister died of sickle cell anemia. My sister, whom I love dearly. And that's because nature misassigned. It gave her a blood creation system that made sickled-shaped red blood cells that would not carry oxygen, which led to her early death because nature misassigns. Sometimes a child is born with a cleft palate because nature will make assignments that may not be in keeping with the majority of what other people get, or a clubbed foot. There are individuals, it is clear that human nature has a design that allows for males and females to cohabit sexually to produce others to continue the race. Now, that seems to be a part of divine intent from my perspective, but there are some males and there are some females who are born with both sets of organs. Nature has misassigned. Those individuals at some point may have to make a choice. Some of them, the choice is made for them, and doctors will do something at birth that the child may have to confront later on. Sometimes it is not clearly physical. The misassignment may come in the brain, where a man can be born with a brain that says, I am drawn to men of my own gender. That doesn't make them any less human. It doesn't make them any less talented. Let me tell you something, church folks. If you took away the contributions of gay individuals to the church, your hymnal would look very small. So when that happens, it happens. I have friends who are pastors who are gay, and their churches are fine with it. They should not step down. I have friends who are pastors who are gay, and the church does not know, and they should not step down. But if you are doing anything that is injurious or that does not allow you to be true to the person that you are, causing you to live in hypocrisy, I don't care what it is, then you should relocate yourself where you can live a life that is true and honest to who and what you are as you stand before God. That is just one man's opinion. I happen to be that one man, and I stand by that. That's the point I'm making, and it's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us today, being a part of our show. Had a good guest today. We were able to speak with the newly elected NAACP president of the Philadelphia chapter, Catherine Hicks. Thank you so much, Ms. Hicks, for joining us. James Garrow, who is the communications director of the Philadelphia Department of Health, told us about the spraying for mosquitoes that'll take place tonight in North Philadelphia. But more important than anything, were all of our callers who called in and shared their point of view. On behalf of all the good folks here at WURD Radio, who make it possible for us to spend this time congenially and convivially one with the other, including our most famous producer of renown, Agent Number 31, Eric Nixon, my name is Nick Taliaferro, and we're looking forward to spending time with you tomorrow when we simulcast with WVON Radio in Chicago from 5 until 6:30. Until that time, have a great day today, a better day tomorrow, and I'll see you again right here on the radio. Take care, everybody.